his lap, gold chain with a strap, cashing out hella clams. He's got Solana in the bag. What's the ticker? Where's it at? I put the crypto on my tab. Blew the whole shot, didn't land. Another sell-off we've been had. Not a single drop of liquid left. Bullish on another flip. By 1% it didn't slip. What's the ticker? Where's it at? I put the crypto on my tab. Blew the whole shot, didn't land. Another sell-off we've been had. Not a single drop of liquid left. Bullish on another flip. By 1% it didn't slip. I put the crypto on my tab. Put the crypto on my tab. Blew the whole shot, didn't land. Another sell-off we've been had. Not a single drop of liquid left. Bullish on another.
All right, you guys. How you doing? How's everybody doing this Saturday? You guys leave some comments down below in that purple pill. You know what to do. Repost a room or quote post it. Right. Welcome to the people on the live streams. If we're there already, let's say good morning to Tic. Good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning. I'm doing well. I've just been so busy with everything lately, but life is good, and I have no complaints. Let me see. Producer dot. Oh my gosh, what is it's studio.x.com/producer? Yeah. Oh God, these URLs sometimes. I swear. I gave myself till the last minute. I've just been so freaking busy lately. But I am seconds away from getting the live stream
Oh,
posted. Cool,
awesome.
cool.
That is great. Well, life is, of course, good.
Yeah,
While here it feels a little uninspired. I suddenly
yeah.
feel a little bit uninspired today. I don't know why.
That was
But
me yesterday. Jeez,
yeah, right?
I
I,
needed
I'm
to
waiting
like,
for
what do you
I'm
call it?
waiting for a wind of
Deload.
change.
It was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I really needed to like, I don't know, like work through some things and like come to some realizations and then get to
Yeah.
moving and get to
Yeah,
action
yeah.
and
Yeah, yeah,
start
yeah.
taking care of. I was watching this thing about signal to noise ratio and how
Yeah.
Steve Jobs had a signal to noise ratio of 80 to
Yeah.
20%. So he was
Yeah.
80% driven to perform action, and he would have three things
Yeah.
each every 18 hours that he would need to take care of that were of the top priority out of his list of 1,000 things to do. There was three things though that were of the utmost importance that he would
Yeah,
know that.
yeah. And these three things should
Uh-huh.
be at the 80% level of having impact on your life, right?
Mm, yeah.
So
Or
so
whatever your
not
like
just
vision
anything.
is or your goals or
Yes.
whatever you're
Yeah.
driving to do,
You
whether it's
always
like
start with the thing that has the biggest impact. So a lot of people, not to bring this around to the gym and diets, but that's the last years of my life.
yeah.
People have been asking me about that stuff. Like, I want to eat better and do all this stuff. Where do I begin? And what supplements do I need? And I'm like, forget supplements.
Yeah,
Forget
yeah,
supplements.
exactly. So
Just the biggest impact your food can have is
yeah.
to get 80% of your food as close to the source, to the original source as possible for you.
Yeah. Yep,
So
I have
stop
that
watching what the
tendency.
neighbor is doing because
Yeah.
it's not you,
Right.
right? And you may be in a city and you may be somewhere else where things are not available at hand. You might look for them online. And so it's different for everybody what that looks like. But try
Yeah.
and target 80% of your food coming from as close to the source as possible. And that's where you have the biggest health impact when it comes to your food intake. So no more supermarket. That's basically what it means, or as less as you could possibly get from there, right? Really go into the supermarket. Really, your mission is there to get the least amount of possible from it, right? So when you need meat, you go to the butcher. But if you do have no butcher available to you that has good stuff, then you can do that online and so on, and then you can perfect it over time. But just doing that is going to have enormous health benefits for you when it comes to your food intake, and then you won't need these supplements, right? That's optimization.
Yeah.
And so yeah, you need to pick your, well, Steve Jobs' program for three things. Most people find it difficult even to do one thing,
Yeah.
but do that one thing and have that 80% rule. Like, I need to put 20% needs to give me 80% impact.
Mm.
So it means if you want to make money, right, getting monetized on X, if that money, look, I raked in $1,000, a little over $1,000,
Nice work. That's very awesome.
but yeah, no, this is compiled, right? Huh. It's not from the last 2 weeks. But look, if you're in a country where that is a large amount, that makes sense for you to be busy doing. 'Cause
Mm.
it takes some work, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a country that amount makes no sense, then you're putting effort of time towards something that is not giving you an 80% impact at all.
Right.
So
Yeah,
you
I
need to
mean,
look for something else.
if you're looking at like two
Yeah.
dollars an hour or what, how, I don't know,
Yeah.
whatever it
Right.
is, but like look, it's like assess like, I don't know, let's say you put 200 hours into it, and then you
Yeah.
got $1,000. So how much is that? $5 an hour? Did I just
Well,
do the math
if
right?
you go over time, that goes up, then it kind of you're building on something. Maybe, well, X has
Yeah.
got different things. If you have a big account, you can do more things, a bit subscriptions and
Mm-hmm.
promotions, and you can
Yeah.
build out that income, right?
Absolutely.
But still, does it make sense for you? Might still not make sense. So, don't stare yourself blind on these things.
Mm.
I still make more money with trading. So
Yeah.
that's where my focus then should be, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
But
Well,
yeah.
let's say good
Mhm.
morning to some people in the room. Take, I
Yes.
see Adam is on stage, and
I'm so
some
stoked.
good news with his project going on. We see Wanker from Chedets,
Yeah, it's
and
a lot of quiet
Mondays.
building has been going on.
Oh man,
It
it's been so
has to.
quiet.
That's the only explanation for the way that like X has been. It just seems like there's like well, and in bearish times too. That's when it's time to build. It's like, okay, time
Yeah,
to get to
and
work. The
yes,
market's
and the
not
fact that
exciting.
I'm, yeah, and the fact that I reached a few targets with my X accounts, I'm not necessarily as active as I used to be on it. And so that gives you that because I host a space, it's projecting me out in the algorithm a little bit less, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's a big component of this as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the only way to dramatically shift that is if I need to up the game here again, which I probably gotta next week just tackle something. I just felt a little bit uninspired about posting. I felt like I need to do something hard. So I'm gonna go and give myself on the 1st of November. I'll start my 30-day hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that comprises of 15,000 steps a day, 1 hour outdoors, one resistance training workout, 4 meals a day with macro distribution. Now that's not hard for me. Also, reading a book for half an hour, right? So it's going to be those things. So, um, and so I
Fiction or
feel
nonfiction? What's your
that
preference?
doesn't matter as long as you're reading a book. No listening to a
But what's
book.
your
No,
preference though? Do you have a preference?
well, I read more scientific books.
You love nonfiction.
Oh, absolutely
Yeah.
nonfiction. Yeah.
You're more of a nonfiction person. I am too. Like I love nonfiction.
Yeah.
I'm like I'm a very like
It's easier for me to
realist,
read. Yeah.
and yeah, I don't know why. I
But
just
yeah,
love it.
doing a 30-day hard seems easy. So don't set these goals like too high because you're going to have to do it every day, right?
Yeah,
Every day. And so um, I have been working out, of course. It's not like I'm not doing it, but I know this is always a challenge. But after 4 or 5 days in, you start to feel better because you're accomplishing it. You're ticking boxes. Of course, there's going to be a crash where you're not feeling happy about it. And those are the days that you win the hardest. And it's just, I get so inspired from doing those. Like halfway in, I come with fresh ideas because I'm actually like, yeah, cleaning my mind
yeah,
from garbage.
yeah. Your
Yeah.
neuroplasticity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure, for sure. I kind of like I could feel that yesterday, and I was like, damn, like what?
Well,
It
yeah,
like it's
especially if you feel a little bit like you don't have any direction, this gives you a good direction. You need to do this every day.
yeah,
So
yeah.
if we
There you
don't know
go.
what to do, this
Yeah,
is at least what we're doing, right? So
yeah.
you always have a goal. You never feel, out there with your soul under
Right,
your
you're
arm.
well, and you're
Uh,
accountable. You have to be accountable
yeah,
to
you're
yourself.
accountable. Yeah,
You have
yeah,
like, a to-do list,
yeah.
and that accountability factor really changes things. That's why having a gym
So
bro
30-day
can be,
hard,
yeah.
and I kind of wanted to do a trading challenge in there as well, and do like a every day a trading. Well, it's very hard to do every day, but let's take 500 to 5K in 30 days or 10K in 30 days, something like that, right? And with that, we can set the goal a little higher and do it like that. So I don't know if we can incorporate something like that and then use the ray gun with the YOLO setting, right? That's in beta, and we are the ones who get to test it. Tick. I arranged that for us, but also
Mm.
for our community. If you want to join, hook me up in the DMs. Doesn't need to be $500. You can do it at $5. We are going to beta test a sniper gun for TG. So we're going to snipe new pairs, and then we're going to do that on 9 networks, so not just one, right? We're going to scan contracts and snipe on 9 layers, right?
Uh-huh.
So we're gonna, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So if you are in this space and you're listening to this and you want to do it with us, then drop a DM with Wild here. All right. That's gonna be a lot of fun. But Adam, how are you doing there in the Hong Kong?
GM guys, GM, good to see you today.
Jim.
Yeah, it's Jim.
Jim.
早上好. Yes, yeah, happy to be here, and yeah, I'm feeling the the agenda to read more books. I like books because they're kind of like single purpose. It's like a single purpose phone, right? Like it's like you don't have to. The problem with the devices, these devices, is we just get so sucked into fucking everything, you know? And it's like it's so distracting. And yeah, I turned off all of my notifications. I can't remember, like 2 years ago or something, and it's been much better since. But definitely just being able to just like having a book and focusing on that and reading that is so enriching and yeah, just relaxing as well, actually, and kind of weirdly, it shouldn't be like extra mind expanding, but it kind of is, right? And yeah, it's a shame. I've been reading a book, and it's just been going on, and so I haven't read many others because I'm kind of like reading a book. I'm just reading it a lot,
Yeah.
and but I've got some. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting back into some other
Oh,
books. So
it looks
yeah,
like Adam wants
definitely.
to do a 30-day hard.
I
I
might
used
just
to
read
I
for
used
30
to
days
read, yeah,
solidly,
I used to
solidly.
read 3 to 4 books a month. And I kept that up throughout all my training because it was a part of my evening ritual. And I had an hour and a half, 2 hours for reading. And somehow, when I didn't do competitions anymore, this started to get out of hand. But listen to this: if you're listening in a space and you're a parent, or in the future you're going to be a parent, right? That's something that you're looking forward to in life to do. The academical level of your child. And when you ask people this question, what is the number one that makes a difference in the academical level of your child? And people will say it's money, it's genetics. No, the number one answer there is how many books you have in the household. How many books you have in the household determines by far, and it's not the only one, of course, but it's the one that stands out the most, where you can have the 80%. Yes, having books in the house, because when there's books in the house, there's more conversation, there's more diverse conversation, there's broader vocabulary, and this are all markers for academical um, levels, right? So yeah, that is some alpha right there. So you should
Yeah.
be reading yourself, right?
Yeah.
As an example. Yeah.
I just met somebody the other day and they told me that they've read 55 books this year. And I was like, that to me is quite the feat. That's more books than I've read in my lifetime, if I'm being completely
What
honest.
was your answer? I read the back of shampoos when I was sitting on the toilet, or
No,
is something like that cleaning material.
I'm you. Oh my gosh, I could tell you my answer, and it's gonna make me sound like such a dickwad. I was like, oh well. I was asking. The first question was oh, is it nonfiction or fictional books do you like? And then I told her about the book that's called The Tao of Physics. And I was like, oh, one of my favorite books that I've read is called the Tao of Physics, which is about parallels between Eastern mysticism and modern quantum mechanics. So it's kind of like, it's like, no, I don't read many books, but the ones that I do are kind of like a little more on the, I don't know, the there's some profound realizations or discoveries or things that they kind of like touch on in the Tao of physics. I'm not sure if you're familiar. There's the Tao of of anything. There's the Tao. I'm sure there's probably the Tao of
I know the book.
bodybuilding.
I think I borrowed that one
Oh,
and
the Tao of
had to give it
physics.
back. Yeah,
Oh, you do know that's what is it? Chopra, I think. It's
yeah,
but
yeah. It's
anyway.
not. It's not. I mean, look, it's not a scientific book by any standard, but it was very. I mean, you need to be.
Oh, it's sick
At one
though.
point,
Yeah,
when you're
it
reading three,
opens your
four books a
mind.
month, you're just at one point you grab for titles, right? And you're just like, oh, looks looks okay. Let's
Yeah.
go.
I was
Yeah.
just I was just thinking like how can I make the Tao of bodybuilding?
Yes.
Draw.
I read those books as
I'm not a
well, right? From
bodybuilder, so it doesn't.
these influencers and stuff. I read that
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
too. It's not like I'm only reading
dude.
science.
Well, you,
The ones that I like to keep in my collection, I kind of
yeah,
the ones that I have a lot of love with,
you,
or that I really, when I read it, I felt like I was transformed, right?
you,
And so they got to
yeah.
have a place in the bookcase.
Oh, I love that. It's incredible what you can learn from YouTube. It's like I would love to be a hater and be like, yeah, like no one knows what they're talking about. Like, don't listen to these people. But it's the stuff that these people talk about, like in how to keep your form correct, how to eat properly, things like that. There are a lot of influencers with extremely valuable information that will far surpass any information you'll get from any personal trainer in terms of like
Oh, and look, that is rightfully so because there's tons, especially in the fitness
yeah.
industry,
Yeah, there's
right?
so much free
Tons of
information
myths.
for you. Oh,
Yes,
and
but there's
misconceptions.
so many
Yes,
misconceptions
yes, there
about what to
is.
do
There is.
that we need to
Yeah,
enlighten people,
yeah. I
right?
used to have
I
my
did
friends.
many master classes. Yeah.
Yeah, my friends that were, levels above me, like S tier level, they would
Yeah.
like correct me or like I would tell them,
Yeah.
my diet, for instance, or what pre-workout I was taking. And they're like,
Yeah.
dude, stop all that. They're like, wait, the
Yeah. Stop.
pre-workout's not gonna give you muscle. If anything,
Well,
it's gonna
right.
take
The one thing that stands out the most with that is just
the
you're doing too
shortcut.
much. No,
Yeah,
you're trying to look for shortcuts, but you
yeah.
also try to do too much because you just feel a lack. And because you're
Mm,
feeling a lack, you're trying to overcompensate by
mm,
doing too much. And if you want to build muscle, you need to not do as much as possible.
yeah. Well,
You just got to stick with the reps and stick with the resting time. And you don't have to be in the gym 3 hours a day. And
yeah.
you don't need to be on a treadmill. That's cardio, is something else.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That'll get you skinny.
Well,
Um,
well, for men kind of get it, but the females are just horrible when it comes to fitness and building muscle for women. They think they're gonna come be like a bodybuilder, which
yeah,
is absolutely not the case.
they don't want to look too
And
jacked.
they all want a bigger ass, but nobody wants to eat more. It's ridiculous. All right, but yeah, let's not get into that again. But Adam, how are you doing? How's the project coming along?
Hey, yeah, yeah. It's good. It's good. It's been a good actually there's a lot of activity all over the place, and I should highlight as well that like Virtuals has just been totally pumping, like ripping, so it's been completely outperforming the market. So if you guys hadn't, that's certainly a
Oh man, I had a little
significant
bag.
ticker.
I had a little bag, but I wanted to add more, and then it just flew already.
It's like, yeah, I mean, it's super interesting because I wasn't actually around for season one of Virtuals, but I've obviously made friends with like a lot of the key people in the ecosystem, and they did a space earlier and they were so happy. But it's kind of because what happened last year, like towards Christmas time and into January, that was when we reached these like crazy highs with the
Mm,
whole AI agent run.
mm,
And it's so cool because I was the reason I launched Songjam, and the reason I launched the Sang token in Virtuals is because when around May, when I could see Virtuals running up again to about kind of half, it got to about half the all-time high.
and which was kind of against the market at that time,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, frankly, in May, it wasn't really like a natural time to have a run like that. But what I thought is like, yeah, the team knows what they're doing. Like, they've got this side of it figured out. So, and the Genesis launchpad, there was all this hype. So I wanted to jump in. And then since I've been in the ecosystem, I'd say I've become more bullish on virtuals. So despite actually like the price kind of dropping away until, like, I mean, really it was like down in the gutter like this morning, or like like a few even like yesterday, right? But it's been like, yeah, I mean, if they can pull off like another run like at this AI, like an AI agent run, like last year, it could be, this could be a fucking excellent end to the year, right? But it's definitely, I mean, it's great for Sang, right? So because we're obviously we're bonded with virtuals, and yeah, and outside of that, like the other, we're getting the creator coin launch going, which is, that it's kind of quite an interesting like structured launch, which is based on kind of breaking down, like basically it's about like figuring out like launch readiness, like in terms of mind share. So basically just, building up the mind share first and combining the mind share with the pre-sale, and kind of taking the lessons from doing, like having shipped all these leaderboards to these different projects, to basically create what should be, what I think should be like an excellent launch. So it's really, and it's not like, we're not tied to a date. It's tied to, having built up the proper kind of mind share and commitment, right? So yeah, all in all, but I mean, it was super cool. It's super cool to see virtuals doing its thing, and finally, because like actually,
Mm.
you kind of
Yeah,
give up,
Well,
because
right?
well,
You know what I mean?
that's
fascinating.
also good for your pool, right? Because the pool is in virtuals with the token.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's in virtual,
That's
so
what
it's great.
pushing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's pushing your market cap. See, a lot of people
Yes,
don't
exactly.
notice. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
Well,
yeah,
that's
AI, I'm sorry, but AIXPT is back to 75 mil market
yeah.
cap. Is that right? Okay, so AIXPT got hacked last February or something. I forget how the hack happened. It was
yes.
some
Mm-hmm.
It was a
it
weird
was a
thing on
smart
Twitter,
contract, was
actually.
it? Okay.
Well, it
But
was it was related to Twitter and the
Huh,
way that they get the contracts working in Twitter. But yeah, somebody tricked it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
huh.
it had freaking, dude, it pulled back so much. And I feel like the whole virtuals network and I mean this, everything was pulling back, and the hack on top of it. AIXBT, I was very bullish. I mean, I still am. I think AIXBT will still perform extremely well in
Mm.
the long run, but I'm like delusional, and that's just me. But I just have a lot of faith in it because I think it's a great resource. But the
Utility.
whole, yeah,
Yeah.
utility, the but the network itself, that premise alone, dude, it
Mm.
just, yeah, it's just the way that things are moving in the AI direction. I feel like we did have like a little, I don't know if it was like a bubble, like a small like hype bubble at the beginning of it, because it's like it takes time for the technology to actually advance and for the power to be available to power all those GPUs so that the AI can have that compute processing power. But so we're still we're still crawling in that direction. Like these things do take
Mhm.
time. So I still do think it's something that we're really early on, but I'm very bullish on virtuals. And right now, damn dude, game, the coin game AI agent, that one's up 30 or 68%. Is that right? The fully diluted volume is up
Yeah,
65%. What the?
dude, it's all been pumping. Yeah, everything has been, been
Yeah,
Woo!
going
look,
bananas,
but
man.
I'm
That's
The
trying to
whole
tell
nuts.
you,
Yes. Yes, it's
Vic,
bananas.
I just told you how this works, right? So
Uh
the
huh.
tokens, the liquidity pools are in virtuals,
Yeah.
and the token. So when virtuals is pumping, it
Yeah.
always grabs the tokens pumping with, because the
Wow.
pool is there. So it also stabilizes and pushes forward the cap. Sometimes if the cap was low, let's say You're saying at 100K market cap, but your LPs in virtuals, and virtuals does a 10x. And now the LP surpasses the market cap. That will actually show green on the chart while there are no buyers. It has to push the market cap, see?
Mm.
Yeah, so you can look at
Yeah.
the virtuals chart, right? And the virtuals chart might be flat, right? Which is the kind of that's the real chart
Yeah.
of these assets, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Exactly.
in
Exactly.
but and then you can see the sales, like because actually obviously like many people are selling, but then it's like you switch over to the US dollar chart and
Yeah.
it looks beautiful and green,
Yeah.
right? It's so funny. But
Whoa.
yeah, it's really
I'm
like,
looking in the
bro, I
virtuals
mean,
car
I've
right now, and it's like,
This is
what
how
the
it
hell
works.
happened?
Yeah.
Like, dude, when it tanked
well,
on,
So,
I can tell you what
so,
happened. Yeah, I can
yeah,
tell you what happened.
2 weeks
It's the
ago.
new
What
the
was it?
new meta. Oh yeah, well the dump, you mean, but
Yeah.
the meta that everyone is talking about, if you haven't seen it, it's the X402, right? Which is X402 is like the HTTP for payments that has just been introduced by Coinbase,
yeah.
and it's basically related to the AI agent. So it's kind of bringing traditional financial rails and crypto together with AI, what agentic commerce, right? Which is obviously like that's the narrative that
It,
virtuals
it's
have been fostering, right?
it's zero knowledge payments for to bridge Web 2 and Web 3 sort of. Is that kind of the
So yeah, well, I mean, I could what I could say is I'm no expert. Like, I mean, every literally it was some. I think it was basically announced yesterday.
right?
Every single project in the virtuals ecosystem came out and said, "We're doing X 402," right? You know, because
Sick.
like that's what you do. But I don't. Yeah, I need to look into it a bit more. But you can find. I think like Star Platinum's got like a pretty good tweet about it, and but it's yeah, whether it's zero knowledge, I'm not sure exactly, but it's basically like what the
Well,
the the point is that it's even being integrated with like Cloudflare. So yeah, like you say, like Web 2 coming together with Web 3
yeah,
because
it
it's
says
spearheaded by Coinbase,
yeah,
right?
yeah, it says via API without registration, emails, zero auth, or complex signatures. So then that's ZK, isn't it? Or no? It doesn't necessarily mean it's ZK.
Yeah, I don't think necessarily it
Mm,
does.
okay, I see.
No, I mean I need to. I
Yeah,
honestly I haven't even had time to study
to
it because
explore
I've
it.
just
Yeah,
yeah, and it's like it's one of those things where I get that's even though like I'm happy, right? Like I'm happy that the ecosystem's pumping. Like it's really good to hear
Mhm.
uh the people that have been like through well I've been like through the trenches of virtuals now, right? Like it's totally like we've
You
been
earned it.
absolutely
Yeah.
yeah
Now you
yeah
earned it.
so but
Yeah.
it is like I
Look,
mean it
Adam,
was
I've
kind of a
been hodling
punt.
XRP for 3 years.
Oh yeah
So
yeah
I know
yeah
what it's like, right? I
yeah yeah
mean, look,
yeah
you get a freaking, some days you're just like, well, what is up with this shit? Why am I still holding this, right?
Yeah, right. Well, dude, can you imagine? Because it's like the whole token, like
Yeah,
the gamble. To, like,
yeah,
it wasn't a gamble. I knew it was going to work out,
yeah, yeah.
honestly. But like
After
it,
after the fact, we are all genius, right? But meanwhile, it's like, oh my God, I must be so insane for putting
yeah,
my money into this
it,
this magic internet money with a good story.
yeah, bro. No,
there's been a
oh
lot of
my god.
FUD. I don't know if you guys have seen all the FUD on the
That's why you
timeline
buy the
lately.
FUD. You buy
Yeah,
the FUD and you and
there's a lot of
freaking
like Bitcoin bubble posts that
yeah,
I've seen
yeah,
lately,
bro,
and
fuck off.
it's like oh yeah, okay, so that's physically impossible. Like it just makes
Yeah.
yeah, it's it
So
yeah,
my next target, I'll give you mine because I felt uninspired. When I'm uninspired, I just go do TA on Bitcoin for hours on end.
nice.
And so the heat map for short term sits at around 115 on the top, so it's in a tight range, and then 106 on the low end, right? So there's the pickups for the low end, and then the profit, short term profit taken at the higher end, and it's going to be in that range for a little bit. And then the first week of November, I could see my indication is still the 3rd till the 10th, and then we're going to see a little bit of movement in there, which is either going to be a big pump or a reversal in the making. Then my first target today, ITA at 147,937. Very, and that's just calculating the gamma epsilon, right? So, yeah, it took a little while, but we got there. Isn't it great? All right, so that's that sounds like a big
One
deal, but
one four
kind of
seven. You think it's gonna go down there?
147,937. That's what
Oh, 147.
that's
I
what my
thought
brain made of that.
I thought
Yeah.
you meant 104.7, and I was like,
Well,
what?
that's where the long-term holders are gonna take profit, right?
At 147?
Yep, 147,937. Yep, yep. And that is also right. I confirmed because you're always looking for, you can do mathematically, you can do all these things, right? And but you're looking for a confluence on the chart as well. And so when you pasty that onto my trend line on the weekly, yeah, it is where we get that rejection from the trend line. If we take that weekly trend line of Bitcoin, Bitcoin is going over 200K in a heartbeat, right? If we do that, oh my God, right? But no, we will get a rejection there. That always happens. We cannot be too bullish like that, right? But on other, look, I might have felt uninspired, but that doesn't mean that I didn't cook. Because a few years ago, when I started to do a little bit of coding, started to dabble in that a little bit, I, over time, build a code for, with basically quantum tokenomics. So the best of everything, right? And mathematically sound, so I can predict what the token is doing, right? With based on volume. So I built that, but then I was like, hey, AI agent. And then somebody asked me a certain question and a light went up in my head. And then I asked ChatGPT, hey, what if this? And then we build it into an AI agent. And guess you know what ChatGPT told me?
What's up?
That no one asked that question before.
Hmm.
And that was the ultimate, that would be the ultimate agent as a life hack as well as a crypto hack, but altogether a life hack. So quantum reality surfing there, right? But then in an AI agent, yeah, creating reality for you.
That is
Now,
sick.
I know that it goes deep, right? And then many people will be like, that's ridiculous, but it can be done because we can code things. We know this. And so immediately from that, I got brain tired.
Mm.
And so right now, like I need to do something physically to get some inspiration back and to work on that a little bit. But what do you think, Adam? What do you think?
Well, I think that so what I think is I think it's a great name. I think it's a great name, right? Like off the
Oh
bat,
no,
like
it's not. I don't have a name. This was just the concept.
the
Is this?
right. Yeah, well, it's a great concept. It's a great concept. It's great
Yeah.
to have a concept like that. I
Mm-hmm.
think that I actually, speaking of books, I did actually go through a decent book on quantum mechanics, and so I
Mm-hmm.
do, have
Yeah.
a sense of it all, right? And
Yeah.
what's going on. I would want to understand more about and yeah, I mean, I know you're a trader, like
Yeah.
you look at this stuff all the time,
Yeah.
right? But you're actually proposing a this is like this is actually a project that you would
Yes. Yes.
introduce to the market side, and
Yes.
it would actually be potentially a good virtuals project.
Yes. That's what I was thinking
Yeah,
too. Because
yeah,
when I
yeah.
asked ChatGPT about, hey, would virtuals then be a good connection? And then it gave me a
Oh,
whole
really?
explanation on what it did. Yeah.
Okay, super cool. Yeah, well, because
Which
I
on
would,
its own is kind of crazy how that then connects too, right? So that's like a synchronicity on its own. I was like, oh my God, right? That's
yes,
starting to come together. So
yes.
basically,
Well,
with the AI agent, you can not only you can become the person that you want to be by trading.
Mm. Yes, yes.
But by
I
putting, yeah, oh, well, I should not be expanding on this, but it's kind of it's because reality creation is easy. We know how this works, and you can code this because everything is
do.
numbers.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
do you use actually I've got a few comments on this
yeah.
because one is
No,
that
I want to
actually
because I want to
what
have
I
feedback.
what I miss at the moment is I kind of wish that Lurky was still running that campaign with
Yeah,
virtuals.
yeah, right.
So I could be like racking up some virtuals
Yeah,
points
did we ever get
for
paid for
telling
that?
you,
Because I was like
yeah,
top
right,
four.
like,
I was like, I never seen, I don't know how to
yeah.
look at these
What
things. I don't know
it
what I
happened
made.
too quickly. It happened too quickly, right? Like I feel like that kind of thing could have gone on for like months,
Oh
you know,
yeah,
because like
let's
the
it's right in up our alley. Yeah,
I was like, because you were talking about it, and I was like,
yeah.
trying to. I felt I would have been. I should have cleaned up in a campaign
Hmm.
like that, but
Yes, you
it's
should have cleaned
too.
up.
I would have cleaned up like if it would, because now I can explain, for example, like the in depth. I could explain like the new unicorn. I mean, I will. But I
Yeah,
won't not in that much depth. But the new unicorn launch mechanic on virtuals is actually pretty fly.
yeah.
Actually, Lurky. So you know, Lurky are going to TGE. This is other breaking news. If you haven't, Lurky are going to TGE on next week, right? Did you know that? Like,
Yeah,
this is gonna. You did. You already. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
but I didn't mean to get distracted by
No.
the main thing that you are. So what I was gonna say is, um, do you use bots? Do you use like high frequency trading stuff? Like if you do you do that, or is it like you're just going like you can kind of do it all manually, right?
I
Is
can do it manually, and I have a
yeah.
better win rate when I do so. So it's not that I
Sure,
don't try,
yeah. So the
right?
bots aren't even that useful. Like the bots are
No,
more
and AI
useful for
isn't either because it's
no.
programmed a certain way with the information what you feed it. And so when you're a good trader, when you're good at technical analysis, you're looking at calculations, right? But you're also looking at technicals that then have confluence with what you see. You're looking at patterns unfolding. And so if any of these are not matching up, right, as that means it's not a good trade. I cannot be, or I put it on like a 60% bearish bullish, or and I only make a trade when I see 80% confluence in what I see. And so
Uh-huh.
you could build that AI actually, but most AIs for trading are just built on very simple MACD, RSI, right? And but maybe a little bit of a Bollinger in there or something like that when it notices some volatility. But there's really
Interesting.
nothing
Yeah.
else, right? That doesn't do the
No,
calculations. Yeah.
right, right. So but then so this so yeah, I to be honest, like you're gonna have to but well what I'd say is like if you were going to go and launch on virtuals,
Yeah.
then you know, I could definitely give you some pointers for that.
Oh, yeah, of course. I
And
would be
and
going to you for all of this.
yeah, yeah, and I could help. I could also like hook you up with the people that could give you, you know, even better
Yeah.
pointers, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, there's
but
two ways to go about it with the agent. So I can, because they have a little nickname for me here. It's called Optimus Wild.
nice,
Because I'm always like, well, and then we got to tweak for optimization when we find the hook, and then we're just going to be better and better every day, right? And so, give yourself challenges because those work. That's what actually, catch momentum and then compound. And so, right, but that's all based on my way of thinking of what I know how the brain works. And AI is just a product of us, right? We see it as some intelligence outside of us, but it's really not. Everything can be. This sounds really woo woo, but everything is just mathematics here, right? It's almost too easy if you know, and if you know why you're living the life that you're living and why some things don't work, it also tells you that, right? And so that's also mathematics, and so that's just how our brain works. The frequencies also mathematics. So and when you learn about quantum mechanics, that becomes kind of obvious in a way that really comes becomes very clear. And so you can build an AI agent. I'm not going to say really what it does, but you are able to index your life. so you know exactly what to do each day.
That's kind of like dystopian. It's like, what if I'm
So
tired?
Project X,
What if I'm like tired as hell? I'm like, I don't feel like getting up, and
that's a
it's like, and
dystopian.
I got a reminder, and it's like,
But how about
you
the
need to go
AI
run.
told you? Like, how about the AI? Well, I don't want to get in depth with that because I don't want to give away too much of what it in essence will do for you, right? But yeah, what if you have a coach every day telling you what to do in order for you to get to the fastest result, the most optimized result?
It's yeah, uh,
If you
that's
would wake up and a voice would tell you, "Hey, we indexed you today to be this based on previous behavior."
what if it
And we can
orders
we can
four.
measure that. We can calculate for you. It's time for you to go parabolic. And so with today, you're gonna have to do this, this, and this, and this, right? And then another day, it can adjust for you mood wise, right? And it can do that because everything is mathematics. So we
So,
can do that.
on the TV series Silicon Valley, one of the
Mm,
programmers develops an AI agent to help
yeah,
him code. Like they're working on their database or whatever,
yeah.
and he's like, yeah, I made Son of Anton. It's an AI agent, and he's like, well, did you order 4,000 pounds of meat to the office? And he's like, no, why? And it shows like all these boxes of frozen meat, and he's like, oh, that must have been Son of Anton. He's like, I asked him to help us get cheeseburgers, find us the cheapest way to get cheeseburgers for lunch. And so ordered 4,000 pounds of frozen meat to
No,
the
no, no. It
office.
does not. It can optimize you. So it does not tell you exactly what to do, but we can have indicators on ourselves, right? And we have in your life, where you can go. So let's say you have your own token. If your life was your own token, we know, and when we launch, things are great, right? We're being born. Life is being given to us. We're having there's our launch date, let's say, and then we have our lifetime chart, and we can calculate this based on previous information. What's going to happen next? And this is all. This is the confluence with that is, well, Fibonacci, well, Elliot, right? They were measuring the same things that we now are using for a chart to determine what Bitcoin, which Bitcoin is the basically every trader combined, their emotional response is seen in the chart, right? That's how it moves. It's based on human behavior, human emotion. And so emotions are frequencies. So it can predict your frequency for a particular day or a particular time even in your life and adjust according for you.
Dude, I was just reading about
Your
Fibonacci.
own, yeah, Fibonacci is like,
Yeah,
read a book on that, Adam.
because I'm familiar with the Fibonacci sequence, but I don't know
Yeah,
anything about the
also
history
sequence.
of Leonardo Bonacci, commonly known as Fibonacci. And so he was an
Fibonacci, yeah.
Italian mathematician born
Yeah.
around 1170 to an Italian
Yes.
merchant and customs official, and apparently it was his when he was educated in I don't know how to pronounce this, Bugia, where he learned about the Hindu Arabic numeral system.
Yep.
So that familiarity with the Hindu Arabic numeral system must have had some sort of impact with him coming to the realization that there was patterns in the sequence, and
Yes.
that translated into basically everything around us.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, yeah, I would like to
All
read
of
a. I need
nature.
to read a book
And
about this.
later,
This
later
would be.
all also
Hmm.
in the universe, right? The
Yeah.
cosmos. Yes.
Yeah,
So it's
everything down to our DNA,
yeah.
down
Yeah.
to up to the
Yes.
yeah, like you said, up to the
Yes.
cosmos, the galaxies, the
So we
way
can predict
subatomic
this.
particles. Yeah.
So we can
Wow.
predict this.
Hmm.
Yes. Because it's all calculation.
Because
So
it's
man.
all yeah,
So
it's like the way a
yeah.
sunflower grows, the way the
Everything.
human
Yeah.
hand is, the way that your fingers
Yeah.
are, the distance from your knuckles to each other,
Also,
and
when
that's all
we
Fibonacci sequence.
when we retrace, when the top is in and we retrace,
Yeah.
right? We never go to the same level we were before.
Right.
We try and hold on to some levels, possibly.
Is it because there's more volume? Like essentially, is that the
Well,
when you
volume
really
is energy. So in the
mm,
parts in your life, you're going to have more energy.
Ah,
But you can never stay in one frequency or energy level for a long time. That's why also in the charts we cannot stay on top for a long time. At one
that was
point
So
we have to retrace.
yeah,
go ahead.
okay, yeah, I'm kind of getting it now. Yeah, I'm kind of getting it now. Sorry, it
Yeah.
took a while, but
Yeah.
basically, so you're actually talking about you're kind of on to the it's I mean it's not even necessarily a creator coin,
Yeah.
but it could be,
It's
but
like a
it could be
breath of
beyond
life.
that.
Life.
It's
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 like
it's
chi.
yeah, it's like it doesn't really matter actually.
Yeah.
Like it's a way to tokenize and
Yes.
it's a way to quantify your kind of existence as well,
Yes.
right? Which
Yes.
is something that I'm not super into, but like people are very into, right?
Yes.
And people,
Yeah. All the
especially
time.
like fitness, yeah, like fitness people like really and
Oh man,
like
there
it
is
as
a
well.
whole.
So
We know that that book, The Secret. This is the thing, Adam. Well, I came through this in a different door, right? Because of the circumstance when I grew up with my grandfather being a hypnotherapist, and he was like on the edge of new and at the time very much a pseudoscience, right? And so I grew up maybe a little bit of a different backdoor into this, but most people we have had books from a long time ago up till the last 100 years, 200 years ago, of people touching on the same thing, having the same exact impact. So we know of um, um, Neville Goddard. We know that that's a big one in this area. We know Florence. Florence. She was actually Victorian era. A Chauvel Shin, right? Who did this freaking whole manifesting reality creation thing. We know that her hermeticism is big on this, and this is thousands of years ago, right? And so every once so often, every couple of decades, we get a new book from somebody who treats this as newfound information, which is really not. Just like Fibonacci is really not new information, and he was building on information about other people as well, right? So
Mm-hmm.
so this is not new, and I'm always amazed. And then in the new era, we kind of came with that book, The Secret, and we called it the law of attraction, which attraction is not something you do. So it's bullshit,
You
right?
can't sit around and
But
wish for $1 million to show up at your front door. Like
yeah,
it's not.
no, because the self-concept story isn't there. But we also had an NLP being a part of this, right? And so, or NLP and hypnotism used for purposes for this. There is every couple of decades something comes out that sweeps like whole big groups of people around the world into this stuff, right? But not always through the correct door or with the correct um, insights, which
yeah,
are
yeah. So
also might be also not complete, right? So here we are.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's also kind of, I think that it's funny because like sometimes like the language, because language
Yes.
changes over
Yeah.
time, right? Like, so the way we understand things is actually
Yeah.
changing, even though the words remain the same.
Oh yeah.
So we'll kind of look at the words that were written
Yeah.
hundreds of years ago and it actually means something different to us today. So you kind of need somebody to almost translate it into modern
Yeah.
language. But then, so what Wild's proposing is that we kind of translate it into math, right?
Yes.
So it's like
Mm.
totally
We code it. Yeah.
objective,
Do the
yeah,
coding. Yeah.
coded, yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It's coded.
and we actually use not necessarily the charts that we use for
Yeah.
trading, but we take influence from that
Yes.
to kind of help us to define and of course like the tokens that
Yeah.
we actually use this as a primitive
Yeah.
to track. And
Yes.
it kind of one of the problems is, and actually guys, I'll tell you what, oh my god, this is actually super cool. We're doing a leaderboard for this project Pixpel, and they're doing like a launch pad for gaming, right? Like
Yeah.
so you can, and it's very bullish actually. You guys should take a look at it. The ticker is Pixp, Pixp.
Oh, it's not
But
dicks.
not ticks, no, no.
The ticker
Normally
But
is
we play the thing
ticks.
about
yeah,
dicks, right?
yeah.
Oh man.
But
Go
but
on. Go on.
the guy Juan is like so tapped in, man. He's like an economist, and he's so tapped in with like a lot of the frailties of the existing token kind of infrastructure and liquidity and like the manipulation, right? And actually, we did a space with him. I think it was yesterday. God, it feels like weeks ago. I don't know what the hell's been going on with my life, but
It's crypto. Yeah.
it was yesterday.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's go, let's go. Okay, that's not good.
Going on with my life, but
It's crypto. Yeah, it's
it was
crypto.
yesterday, and was it yesterday? Damn. And but like when he was talking, I just realized, and it's funny because I've been doing this project with this guy and I've known him for a while. When he was talking, I just realized that he is a legend and he's got these really cool insights about the fucked up situation of the crypto market at the moment. So, because almost like what you're proposing, the problem is like you would end up, it's too easy for it to become manipulated, right? If you put out a token, I mean, you have to be careful about how you release a project like this so that it's still useful and it doesn't just turn to like another, like, I feel that, like another greed thing, right? Like with the a manipulation and all
Oh
of
no,
this
because this
stuff,
is
like
coded too,
cry.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
need to
So
separate it from the
yes,
financial component, but you
yes.
also kind of don't want to. It's interesting. I don't know, like how you
Well, you kind of
approach it.
don't
I
want
feel,
to, but then
yeah,
virtuals, and this was what, but because I had some questions for AI, also, very much around this. Because all right, here's the concept, and ChatGPT was immediately like, "Oh my God, nobody ever asked this before. Can you believe this?" That's what it gave back to me. Can you believe this? Nobody ever asked me this before. That would be a revolutionary idea, right? And I was like, all right, so we have a few things here that I'm looking at that could be not so beneficial here. And so one of them was like that, and that's when I asked about virtuals, because virtuals, it then the pool is with virtuals, right, and not with USDT or USDC.
no,
So there
exactly. Of
is,
course, yes.
yeah,
It's the pool.
yeah,
The
yeah,
pool is with virtuals.
yeah.
Yeah,
So the sentiment for these, the bigger sentiment is not there, or the biggest relationships are not there. So you take these out of the equation, then it becomes a lot more forgiving, because people don't initially see the value, because the value is in virtuals. It's virtual.
right.
It's
Yeah, yeah. Oh no, no.
yes.
Oh my God, that's so
See?
funny. That's kind
Yeah.
of it's quite cosmic actually
Yes,
as
it
well.
is. I'm trying to tell you,
It's
right?
quite. It's like because suddenly, yeah, it's like the market is moving against the market. Like
Yes.
everything in the ecosystem is moving
Yes. Well, they.
outside of the market, and it's
Yes.
not. It's just like it is its own thing, and like those guys. But that's why, as I say, like I was on the fence with virtuals
Yeah.
until May, and then I
But
was like,
it's
okay,
literally
this,
virtual, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
literally virtual.
Yeah. In essence, how smart is
It's
this? I
actually
bet
very
you.
funny.
Yeah, well, I bet you that they never spotted that one. I bet you. But somebody like me would, right? Literally. Because yeah, right. If pools were in USDT, we have now vibes with something that existed before.
Yeah, I'm quite bearish on that actually. I even
Yeah,
just when you
that's
say
the
it sounds
problem.
so stale. It
Yeah,
sounds so
because
stale.
look,
And
Adam, when
yeah,
you look at the Bitcoin chart in euro, it looks different than the Bitcoin chart in USDT. It looks different than the
yes,
Bitcoin
of
chart compared
course.
to the British pound. You see what I mean? And that has got to do with the pair. And so it's got to do with the sentiment towards that fiat currency or any other currency, right? Or any other cryptocurrency for that matter as well, right? If we put Bitcoin up with XRP, right? But that's the sentiment of XRP marrying in, right? And so fiat is an old thing, and it's constantly being debased. It's basically you're negative in the situation here, right? Negative vibes around that fiat that's coming in.
Yes, yes. Well,
Whether that being
it
agreed,
is bearish.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it is
it
bearish
is
because
bearish.
it signals for people a tons of greed. People do not. People are when they're in the grocery store, they do not think how much Bitcoin would this cost. See? And
Oh,
No,
so
well,
I
the
just saw.
psyche is still
Yeah.
very much in what we're dealing with today. We are not
yeah,
detaching from all of that. So we need something
no,
virtual. Yeah.
no. Well, it's interesting. Yeah, I mean the one of the things of actually like decoupling your thinking, it's also like it's kind of like language as well. Like if you could decouple yourself from knowing how to speak anymore, right? Like that would be a similar kind of thing to decoupling yourself from thinking about things in financial terms of how much things actually cost in the country, right? Which is obviously just, actually at the end of the day, that's survival, right? And it's cool. It's amazing technology. Like I don't need to speak a language to get what I want. I can walk into a shop anywhere in the world and just get the thing. Can get a can of Coke. It's incredible. Like I don't need to even tell the guy that I need it. That's what I needed. I just pick it up and, hand over the cash and it's done. But yeah, like to actually be able to like decouple your thinking from the currency in its own right without there being, I mean, that's the other thing, interesting thing about virtuals. Now you come say they talk about it as a nation of AI agents, right? Which I actually thought at first I was kind of bearish on a lot of the virtuals like lingo and stuff. And I was like, oh, come on, guys. It's just, I found it a bit pretentious. But now I've kind of got more into it. I was more like, oh, okay, I think they've got the marketing piece worked out and like the market making piece worked out. So I'm interested to try. But as I've spent more time in it, I've kind of become like more. I kind of feel like they're quite on top of it, and I'm actually it's something to learn from, and it's something to model, and there's nothing else like it either. So it's there's not really anything else that's gone to such a level, and to take tech and to take tech development and like yeah, with the unicorn launch pad, it's like they're really trying to make it like it's an alternative to like getting VC funding, and they've created I mean you can read about it, but I'll post an article up here actually
Well,
in a
it's part of
second.
the decentralization. That's it. And then
Well,
the
it's
AI
it
agents are doing the same thing.
yes, so it's I'm definitely, yeah, I mean I definitely think that you probably should take this. I mean it's weird, but I would say that in my experience in virtuals, like so we ended up like through virtuals that I met Lurky, and then we're collaborating, and actually we haven't even released the DJ, like the Lurky version of the DJ actually, I think, but those guys have got a lot going on as well. We're tiny teams, right? Like both of us are tiny teams. um and so it's good to not compete, it's good to like team up, and that was kind of, I think, what was like that's part of what it's about, virtuals, right? Like let's collaborate and be, it's a nation of agents, like so the combination of all of these agents should be more than the sum of its parts, right? And that's actually a really powerful narrative for decentralization as well, and for decentralized tech. Actually, I was going to do a post about this, like the A16Z crypto report, right, came out the other day. They've got a slide about like, yeah, I mean, AI is becoming more centralized. Big tech is looking dangerously centralized. And it would take like a team like Virtuals, and I believe that like these projects that are growing up inside the ecosystem will be the future of AI, and it's not only, obviously it's not only Virtuals, but that they have created like a cool infrastructure for us to be able to like actually get the financing, actually be able to leverage the benefits from the movement, right? Like today. But yeah, I would encourage you to, yeah, like really, yeah, think about like doing something like
Yeah.
getting into virtuals and making it happen, because like yeah, I think you can get the support. I hope we're going in for like a
I
really
know
good
I can get
run.
the support for this. I just know I have a lot of connections in this space, right? To make anything succeed, at one point they're just waiting for me to do something to make a move. and I can do multiple things here, right? And I'm going to be a part of something in a couple of weeks again too. But then I play like a supportive role. I've always played a supportive role. In crypto, I felt more comfortable doing that because leading something is exhausting in crypto, right? It's exhausting. It's emotionally draining, and I know it messes immediately with my physical performance as well. And so I gotta be bearish on that. Anybody that takes me away from any exercise or anything, I'll freaking get angry too, right? I will probably, if there's a TG for anything I do, I'll probably have a fit in there in no time and be like, fuck you all, so I don't even care anymore. I'm just gonna go here and have my workout. You guys go be bearish somewhere else. But it was just to have a thought experiment that I had like a couple of weeks ago with when I met some people, some Bitcoin people in real life, and we had like a similar conversation where we put Bitcoin against, let's say, because we always have big ideas, right? We have big ideas and we want to explore them, and so we also think about the vibe sentiment in the market is such a big thing, but the sentiment, where does it come from, right? And so, like I already said, when you have USDT, we have a sentiment towards it because it represents the dollar stability, right? And so we have euro. Let's say the euro. There's sentiment towards the euro, and so we're going to feel a different way if we put it against them. But the thought experiment for us was for 2 hours. We were gonna deep dive into how about we put Bitcoin up to something like God token, like God, just big guy in the sky, whatever your religion is, it's gonna be that energy that put up against Bitcoin. What would that chart then look like? Right. And so we were talking about that for a couple of hours. We still haven't, of course, you have no definitive answer here at all. But we got and made some headway because of the sentiment changing. And all of a sudden, we projected Bitcoin to be over 1,000, um, over, God, damn, I cannot even speak anymore in English. You guys, over 1K, right? So we can take where we put it against God token because of the sentiment. We can take Bitcoin to the heavens. That's basically what we ended up with, right? We can the heaven, right? And so blue skies. What do we call when Bitcoin is in price discovery? Yeah, it's in blue skies, right? Price discovery. And so Bitcoin would be in heaven, price discovery all the time. That's basically our what we philosophized upon a little bit because of sentiment-driven things. And so that's in our life, same thing. So there, like I said, everything is an expression of you, and then everything in the world is an expression of us combined. So in our cities, it's the people who live in the city expresses their things, and then it becomes the identity of the city. And we do that worldwide. We do that, country-wise. We do that, maybe even how do you say, hemisphere wise, whatever can influence that, right? All these differences that we're going to perceive as being different. And we kind of see that when we do this thought experiment in our own life, we have some things that we attach our value to. And now we're talking about self concept. And maybe we're going to, so the self concept here is Bitcoin. That's the price of us, Bitcoin. We are coming in Bitcoin. We are decentralized. We have this mechanism. Us is Bitcoin. And then we're going to put ourselves against the value of maybe opinions from other people. Opinions from other people token, right? So, or maybe DNA token. Yeah, I don't have good DNA, so my price is low. I have good DNA, so my price is high. So sentiment perception there as well. And so when you look at your own life as a token, you are sometimes noticing where that sentiment then comes from. And that's always based on history. Just like we have the history of when we have Bitcoin with USDT, we feel a certain way because of the value of the dollar. We have a certain history with the dollar, and that's how we came up with that sentiment towards it, right? Which is nothing but a vibe, a concept being pushed out. And so all these things you can then discover about yourself too. If you put your value up against the opinion of others, what happened in your childhood, right? DNA. We have all these levels of how we value ourselves. And all these things can be charted because everything is mathematic, right? And so I can now build an agent based upon that and then move forward in life. How do we then change it? How do I put myself in a completely different reality, because everything is just a perception based on the concept of you. And then the sentiment, the emotion, is what gives priority. So when you get angry about something, it has priority in your brain. Now you start thinking about, if you had an argument with somebody, we all know the whole day you're going to be thinking about how you could have said things better. Right? You think about the argument, may even dream about it, right? Looking for that resolution. Because maybe the other person is not even thinking about you anymore, right? But you're just sitting there. I was thinking about that conversation that was upsetting you with something. That's because of emotion. You're being emotionally triggered. And so you're something from the past is being triggered, and that's why you're getting stuck into it, right? And so emotion is like the priority. That sense our that RAS part of our brain, the signal that is what we need to look for. So if we're in conflict with other people, chances are that we're gonna have more and see more conflict in our lives, because we told our brain, "Hey, this is an emotion. It's important. Look for this." And so maybe you thought like, "Oh, that person is just doing this to me because they're jealous." And then I will bet you within an hour, you're going to come up with more people who have the same behavior as that other person had. And you're going to wonder if they were just jealous too, right? Because that's what you just told your brain to look for. But you can program that exactly, that we can code everything. We are coded. Our DNA is one big code. Our protein folding is one big code. And even our protein folding, we haven't ever figured that one out. If we know that, we can be God, right? Completely. Even AI is not touching on any of this. They got to a
I
certain,
was
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was struggling. No, I was because I had something on that, and then you said something else, and then before I knew it, I'd lost the thing that I was originally going to respond to.
Yeah,
But
it come back to you.
yeah, but I think that the base that like the general premise. I mean, it's obviously I think like I'm kind of what I'd say is like I am bullish on the tokenization of everything, right?
Yeah,
And it will definitely like even every kind of atom, right? Actually, is probably going to be tokenized actually because it can, right? And whether it should is that's another question, but it definitely can. And just because look at all this infrastructure that we've got, so, and it probably should because it would allow for this kind of quantification and transparency, right? So yeah, I think that the DNA token is bullish. I think it's probably I don't know like how many I think it's out. I think it's like kind of years out, but
yeah,
maybe not.
but
Maybe
maybe not.
not.
Yeah,
It's sometimes difficult to know the yeah what's really what really I always find like most of my biggest problem is like I'm always like a little bit ahead of the curve or like I feel like I'm just too ahead of the curve for it to be something that's really really truly like useful for people today, right? And that's always it's something that like has potential. But then I think I've been like my recent thing is like getting better at being like, and the reason I got into InfoFi so much is because there's just been such a movement and so much energy around it that it's kind of like you can take that meta and make it into something that is
yeah. So
like
here's
people need
the
it,
fun
people
thing with
want it.
this, right? Here's the fun
Yeah.
thing with this, because when you bring in a predictor in, because that's what we're gonna do, right? Bring a predictor in on you. We're predicting you. That's
Yeah, well,
basically what
this
we're
is
doing.
this is where
And
you
this
you
is where the
you captured
power,
the prediction fi yeah, sorry,
yes,
prediction markets, right?
yeah. And so, but here's the prediction on you. And so, if you're reading a prediction on you, this works the same as people who believe in astrology or divination, right? This is going to be AI divination based on mathematics, based on actually how it works. So, you hearing this, your brain is gonna be primed for that because you heard it.
Yeah.
That's
No,
yeah,
I'm totally with you on that. Yeah,
yeah,
because then you get the AI agents to
yeah,
compete in the prediction market themselves with
yeah,
financial incentives.
yeah,
So they're actually earning money,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And they would burn, I mean, they have to get it right. Like they have
yeah.
to, because that's like they can't lose
Well,
the
it's just
money, right?
well, you program it to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. You feel me?
Yeah, I do, and I think it's brilliant, and I think it's also it's the main question is like, how do you actually start, right? Like
That's
how
the
do you
thing. All
actually,
right, so we
yeah.
need data from, let's say I'm doing this with Adam. I need data from Adam, and this needs to be protected, of course, because it's going to be private data. Because we are going to have to determine. So if you were getting a kid who was just born, we start with this, right? So that was great, because then we have a blank slate we can work with, and then we can come up with it comes up with its own data and fills it over time, right? So then we'll be 100%. But this is going to be based on some data that you have to feed it if we're going to do it on you, and that's going to be a privacy thing. So that's one thing that I have it written down, all the things, the bumps that I could see with this, which needed a solution, because these things just need a patch or a solution. And of course, yeah, there's going to be, how do you feed it, right? And then based upon that, it will start to run. But it just like how do you call this? So there's a phenomena that at one point it will even it out, because there's this phenomena with frequency. When we all make the same movement but different from each other, within 2 minutes we will start making the same movement, right? And so this is because we need to align. And so this AI will then align itself with the information as well, right? So in the end, it will, and then for some it will take a little bit longer. For some, it will go very fast, because it's just based on rhythm and frequency, right? And part of this AI then is going to be using tons of information about psychology, but also tons of information on subconscious movement, right? And we all know, the one thing we do know about the subconscious mind is that it's a fool. It's a blind fool. You can tell it anything and it will believe it. Literally. When you're in a dream, everything in a dream is just like, oh, this perfectly makes sense. Not even question it. If you would question it, you would either wake up or you would be lucid, right? That's where we gain some cognitive function within our dream. And it's creepy as hell. If you ever, I would not recommend
Oh, I
people
used to do it all the
experiment
time.
with that, because it can be really overwhelming when it happens, right? I did an experiment of like, well, it was 14 years ago, 40, 50 years ago already, with someone with lucid dreaming, and we would actually hypnotize each other. It was an experiment into doing this, right? But it's freaking creepy as hell. And you start to question reality when you do, right? Because when you're awake, you'll be starting like, wait, am I dreaming?
Uh-huh.
What the hell is going on,
You
right?
kind of So you kind of
Yeah,
take it, yeah. I mean, I did get into lucid dreaming for a while, and it
yeah,
was super cool, but
yes,
it was also, it's like there's not, it's just a dream. It is a dream, right? So it's not,
yeah.
I don't know, it's like there's limited kind of
Well,
function for
yeah,
transforming
the
your
whole
waking life.
reason, the whole reason why we have a wake state is so we can define reality. Define if we're not dreaming, and that's the barrier we need to have. If not, we would all go perfectly insane.
Right.
And
Yeah. So,
so that's it's to keep us safe too, right? So looking going over these barriers yourself is kind of like, well, and we know this with drugs, right? When we push it with drugs like mushrooms, there have been studies on that too. LSD, you know the deal, right? Yeah, well, some people end up in psychosis, and that's exactly where that border then disappears, right? And they stay into a certain state, and some never come out, right? So it's not a great thing to be pushing boundaries there if you don't know what you're doing, right? Or if you don't do it under guidance or some sort.
Right. And
And that was,
out of body experiences, right? Like
yeah,
exploring the astral plane and all of that.
yes,
Like
yeah,
there is like a science to it, right?
yeah,
Like you
yeah.
can actually go and traverse like these
Yeah.
realms.
We call it remote viewing as well. It's similar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But it's also like it's kind of like it's quite a lot of work, right?
yeah,
So it's actually quite tiring and you don't really have you got I don't know, you kind of got to commit to it, I think. Like people who was the guy, the ketamine guy, right? The John Lilly, is it? Like the guy who was communicating with dolphins and stuff.
yeah.
He had a flotation chamber and he would just mainline ketamine and communicate with dolphins and all of that. And but really fascinating stuff. Like I have no doubt that and have no doubt it's like a super interesting place to hang out. But it's also like, yeah, you can't. You got to kind of commit to that as like maybe for a professional reason or something. If you're gonna go
Yeah,
there,
experiment.
because it's
Yeah, a
like
life mission into, and then
yeah,
always, of course, I had like brain sessions on these things I really love to have sometimes, not every day, but on occasion, have like a thought experiment around these things. And then, we've been talking about that stuff for a long time too. And just my perspective on it is that, okay, sometimes we should not be messing with these things because as soon as we try and understand things, we are trying to cognitively define it. And
Mm.
that is in direct contradiction with the essence that we're trying to understand. So you might never. So you need to be in either one state or the other, but you cannot be in two states at the same time and have it not have any consequences. And that's why we're not staying in frequencies in because we know we have brain frequencies. We notice, and we don't stay in one all the time. Right? We're moving through our day in different frequencies. Right? There's not 1 second that's the same here. Now we can name a few that we possibly stay in a little bit longer, but that's on a spectrum then when we're in it. And we know that there's something that the theta state very important here because they call it Wu Wei, right? In the more Asian philosophies, but we all that Wu Wei is kind of the state of creation, and that's kind of where you want to gravitate to most of your day, right? And this is the state where time. This is as close as we can get with our eyes open and have a lot of subconscious behavior come out automatically. And this is also the state that we are still awake, the theta state, we're still awake, but we're leveraging subconscious power. And with the way that we notice that, because for the subconscious, time and space doesn't exist. And so, one of the best ways to come to notice that you were in that state, and we all know this, when you get caught up into something, and all of a sudden you look outside, you come out of the state, and it's dark, and you have not thought about food or water or what time of day it was at all. You were just making something or doing something, and you were so in it that there was no sense of time and space. And that's
yeah,
where the
actually,
subconscious you was most present.
yeah. That's actually very. I feel like this is happening to me all the time, actually, at the moment, and yeah, it's actually very interesting. But it's definitely. I mean, it's definitely going to be an important kind of an important new primitive that is also kind of touching like med med tech, right? So it's definitely something. I mean, we talked about this before a bit. Launchpad. I think that might be useful. I think you get a lot out of reading that actually. So yeah, check it out.
Yes. There we go. Article. That's a nice article.
Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty comprehensive.
Yes.
No one realized I've been I was been bumped down for
No.
like 20.
Well, look,
No one missed me. Damn. All
Tick.
right.
Well, I didn't hear you,
I
and
was no I
look.
was here listening. It was actually quite insightful. I love as much as weird as it sounds, I love to listen to Adam talk, dude. Like honestly,
Awesome.
you could record like an audio book and I'd listen to that.
Yeah.
Do it on the Tao of metaphysical reality tokenization. The
Yes.
tokenization. But anyway, yeah,
Well,
no,
I think
some
that's the
awesome
way to
stuff though.
go, man. I
Mhm.
mean, look, it's going to be pioneering something new, and it's going to be even valuable for us going forward learning,
Well,
right?
and
Learning with us at the same time.
speaking of value, I don't know if this is old news. I know that it was posted like 21 hours ago, but I just came across it. JP Morgan valuation Coinbase at $34 billion, the meaning
Yeah.
the base token that puts the valuation. Wow.
Yes.
34 billion with a
I was
B?
spotting
That's
that this morning
and
early,
that's still
unfortunately.
bearish.
So.
I
Yeah.
still think that's bear. Like, I mean, that's them like throwing them a bone. The real
Yeah.
valuation, I think, in reality is much. And then J.P.
Well,
Morgan knows it's a
The
hundred
S
x
and
that.
P, the S&P just hit 17 trillion. So we
17
just have a long way
trillion,
to go. Yeah, yeah.
and then total market cap for cryptos at 3.7 trillion today. Let me
Yeah,
see.
so there's still a lot to go.
I
We
haven't
have a long
looked,
way to go. We have a long
but
way.
it moves so
So,
slow. You don't have to check
see,
every day.
look how when we have a little bit of a more difficult thinking conversation, people can't keep up. See, everybody's leaving this thing. So that no,
That was
Adam
very
is
high
really it.
paced. Yeah, you guys were
Well, yes, because you're
ketamine and
dropping a lot.
dolphins.
The thing is because also
Mainlining.
because Wild because Wilder is like a hypnotist, you kind of realize she's kind of hypnotizing you for some time, and you're like,
Absolutely.
damn.
Absolutely.
And then like, and then it's like you kind of, but it's okay because that's part of the deal, right? Like
I
that's
don't
kind of
even
why.
need
Yes, very much.
the ketamine or the mushrooms because of the introspection comes
You
from just
know,
talking to her. It makes me
sometimes
self-reflect. I'm like, oh wow, like
yes, you find a little gem. There's a light
yeah,
going on always. On
yeah,
Sunday, there's no What's a Ticker, and I'm doing Wake Up Wild Space. And usually it's very busy too. And after that space, there's always, because I cannot help but doing the conversational hypnosis at some points, right? Not all the time, but sometimes I'm just like, I sense somebody's vibe, and I'm just like, we got to address this. And then I feel the vibe of the room and just, doing all that.
yeah.
But then, but then there's always an amount of people in my DMs later on the day there was like, oh my god, my mind is blown.
That they got a lot out of it. Yeah. No,
That,
yeah. That's
no, they had a good idea, they had something that was changing their perspective on everything,
mm,
and so it freed them up to go do something that they want to do, like that one, a goal that they want to reach. It actually
mm.
freed them up because they could let go now of something that they had in their head as an issue, whatever that issue. I don't, some people tell me about it, I don't even need to know the issue, just the fact that there was an issue that held
I,
you back.
tell me this. I
It's
have a
not there
question.
anymore,
I have a
right?
question for
Yeah.
you that's relevant to this. You
Yeah.
told me that you rearrange your house every
Yes.
3 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was literally yesterday. I was like, dude, I'm thinking about moving my desk, like where my
Yeah.
desk is right now, to just maybe I have another desk, and I'm thinking of quality problems, right? I'm thinking of
Yeah.
like moving to the, like rearranging it.
Do it.
I'm like,
Do it.
I could see the benefit of just me even facing another direction, even the feng
Yes.
shui.
Do it.
I don't know,
Do
because
it.
I'm right now I'm facing away from my door, and I don't
Yeah.
know. I think you told me you're supposed to be facing towards your
Yes.
doorway,
Always.
correct?
Yes. 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 Yes.
I wonder if I should turn, maybe even if I just turn my
Well,
desk.
that's the thing. What I find with feng shui is too. This
Uh-huh.
is that suggestion power again, right? Same thing, and it's not wrong when it tells you that there's energy coming into your house and it goes through your house. Yes, we all can sense this,
Yeah.
because when we sit with our backs against the door, we do
Mhm.
not sit very comfortable. We have that.
Wow.
Depending on your house,
Yeah.
right, and
Wow.
the lighting, it
Mhm.
can actually feel like somebody's looking at you, and you're
Yeah.
just like a little creeped out, and it distracts you of the work that you need to be doing. And so, yes,
And that's
turning
noise.
it
Like I was
around.
talking about
Yeah,
noise, the signal ratio.
yeah,
So the doom scrolling on TikTok, the doom scrolling on whatever the YouTube videos, the mindless I don't know. I'm thinking of things that are like not good for building toward your future. Things that are degenerative, like drinking alcohol, for instance, or like smoking cigarettes or whatever. That's time and money that you're taking away. That's noise, and that's taking away from the signal towards building towards your goal. So if you want to manifest a goal, like let's say you want to manifest being a millionaire,
Yeah.
all of that noise and all of those distraction and all that other shit that's occupying
Yeah, yeah,
50% of your
but
day.
here this tick because
Yeah.
here's the dynamic with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we and this is the problem that we have collectively too. We are trying to solve the symptom. So we blame TikTok. We blame
Mm.
short form content. We blame that. Oh, it's because Twitter only allows us 280 characters. Yeah, but who made this? Humans did. And so
Mm-hmm.
you make choices. You make choices. So why are you on TikTok to begin with? Well, I could tell you this much: it's gonna whatever drove you is part of your old story,
Mm.
and the new story might not have time to do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you're gonna gravitate. We in our lives, we're gonna gravitate to confirm who we are, not your goals, what you made up in your to-do list. See?
Mm.
And so if your to-do list is very alien or even threatening to change that old you, you're gonna be
Like give me
yeah,
like what an example would be like oh I want to drive a McLaren next month, like
yeah,
that type of goal that's just like bonkers.
yeah, could be, but maybe you're uncomfortable with this because it makes you more visible and you're a shy person, and so the old you
No, I
will
just can't
find a
afford a McLaren.
distraction,
That's
will
like
find a way for you to be distracted from all of this, like no, and you're gonna be there on TikTok doom scrolling, right? And so
oh I
other
see.
people,
Yes, it's an
yeah,
escape, so
you're
you don't have to
yes, it's
face
an
the
escape.
reality.
No, you don't want to change. That's the
Mm.
problem. And like I said, we see that with people. I changed people completely within 3 to 6 months. They had a different body. They looked different. And they all came to me with the same problem here. This is what we talked about before, how you cannot be famous in your own village, right? Because their family was now on parties telling them, like, hey, have a bite of cake more, right? Have a little bit more of this. Oh, come on, drink an extra
Yeah,
glass with
yeah. The
us, right?
holidays roll around and
Yeah, yeah,
everyone's
because
drinking.
they
Yeah,
want the old you, right? And
yeah,
this is a make or breaking point for you.
yeah.
Are you going to recognize that the new you is now dominant here, or are you going to is your mind going to go like, "Oh, that extra thing won't matter."
Yeah,
And that's the
it's
old
so
you
weird. It's so like I
dominance.
told you before I don't drink, and I still have people that are like that ask me
Well,
like, well,
whatever
why
it
don't
is,
you
the piece of
drink?
cake, piece
Yeah.
of cake, have an extra piece of cake. And
Mm.
if the old you is still predominantly ruling you,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna fall for this. You're gonna be in your mind. You're gonna make up the reason why you should have that extra piece of cake. And the new you is just like, no, this is not what we do anymore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Right?
you, and I think you
We
and I
have
have the
enough.
same problem with ice cream. I can tell by
Yeah,
the way that you talk about your matcha
yeah,
protein ice cream and stuff that
yeah.
was actually like it was becoming a problem for me where it was almost like a
It's
pint a
a
day
problem.
because I was like
But it's
skinny.
not.
I was
Okay, so now you're
155
talking
pounds with
about
a.
ice cream, and we talked about alcohol, and we talked about all stuff, right? But it's not the
But they're all the
stuff,
same.
it's the old you.
They're all the
Yes,
symptom.
it's
They're
representing
all a
the old you.
symptom. Yeah.
Yes, there's a symptom of you,
Yeah, that's
the old
something
you. Yeah.
actually in I don't know you're familiar with like Alcoholics Anonymous,
Oh
correct?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
in Alcoholics Anonymous that's something that they say is that alcohol is but a symptom of the disease. So like meaning that
Yes.
like what the person suffers from is actually like a personal it's an inside job essentially.
Yes, an inside job.
They need
Everything is
to
an inside
yeah,
job.
they need to kind of
Everything
go
is an
through,
inside.
do a moral inventory, figure out what's causing
Yes.
them to seek the
Yeah.
escapism.
And here's the thing where it doesn't help because the old you literally is your neuro road
Mm.
work, right? Your
It's
neurological
you're
road
just
work is
mapped
now.
to do that.
Yeah,
That's
because the
why some
more you
people, yeah.
do, the more you do something, the more it ingrains that pathway. It's just like a road where trucks are
I've
going over.
dude,
At one point, you will have the
yeah.
tracks in the asphalt, right?
You just gave
So
me the
yeah,
chills because I've heard stories
yeah,
of guys saying they're like, I was on my way home from work and I had just stopped
yes,
at the liquor store. Like I
mhm,
like they had no control over it. They were on
no,
autopilot, kind of like when and that's, I mean, that's kind of a cop out, but it's because they're so
yeah,
hardwired that's what they need to do or whatever,
yeah.
and it could be
But
with
that
anything. It could
hard
be the cake, it could
wiring,
be it can be anything. It applies to anything.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the longer we did something,
Mhm.
so the longer you stayed in a certain state of you,
Mm.
the
Mhm.
harder it's going to be to get out. Now, and
Right.
here is the thing that trips us up all the time, because this is the old you tripping up the new you, and this is how it's doing it. All right. So, all right, I have something that I want. I just have it now. I have a terrible life, or at least I think I do, right?
Yeah,
And
right.
and it's going to come up. Yeah, I'm doing all the stuff that I don't need to be doing, and is actually sometimes against what I want. And sometimes when I really sense that I need to do better, I do more of the bad behavior, right? Oh, that's even worse, because you're now scaring that old you by even thinking about the new you. Like, oh,
Mm.
I got to exercise more. Boom, I'm going to stay in bed all day. That's what I'm actually doing, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. See, so you're doubling down there. See how that works? But here's the beauty of it, right? As you need to push it with little things, right? Not big things. So we trip ourselves up with this mechanism. I am depressed and I need to be what? Happy. I am fat and I need to be skinny. So what are we doing here? We're going to extremes,
Mhm.
right? We're going to put one end against the other. This is your that RAS part of your brain coming up with that thing. And so if I'm fat, I need to be skinny, so I need to stop eating, and not eat less. No, stop eating. Fasting. I'm going to do a 4-day fast. You're not going to make it.com. You're not even going to start it, right?
Mhm.
All right. I need to go to the gym every day, right? Is this rational? No, it's not, because neither of these things are required. If you're depressed, happy is the goal. But what do we first need to be? Stabilizing our behavior so we don't get worse, right? That's basically that would be a good way to start, right?
Mm.
But that's not happy, so we're not seeing any of those small steps that we need to do. Need to go to the gym every day? No, that's not required. We can start with 2 times. Can I do 2 times? Because here's the thing, learning, we do repetition over time. The more we can do these repetition over time, the more momentum and more compounding movement we get. And that's that spiral up. The way that we trip ourselves up is by going all the time to the extremes, because that needs to happen. Well, yes, but we need to get there. So, what do we start to do? All right, we need to get out of the comfort of where we were in. Bad behavior, comfort, whatever that zone is that you're in, we need to get out. But we can't fly out so far over the border there that we're getting traumatized, shoot ourselves in the foot, and go right back into that self-fulfilling comfort zone. See? So
Mm.
that's why the military, this is all knowledge that everybody knows, right? So the psychologists know this, neurologists know this, marketing psychologists know this best, but also CAI knows this, military knows this, because what does the military tell you to do to be organized in your life? We start by making our own fucking beds.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's changing our lives. Yeah, that's a small thing you can do every day, and it will be life changing because you never did that before. So if you're a disorganized person, instead of thinking, I need to buy this closet so I can rearrange my house so I can be more tidy.
Yeah.
No, you need to start making your fucking bed. That's what you need to do. You can do that right
Mm.
now, right? So I see a lot more people on stage. Just maybe you want to talk about something else, you guys. I mean, we've been kind of going on a little bit of a tangent, but it is the weekend, so we can do it. I see George is at the space. George, I'm amazed some people are still here, because usually this is a little bit of a higher conversation that takes a little
Yeah,
bit of brain power.
for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, but I think it's applicable to crypto as well. Just like I was saying in The Big Short,
Oh yeah.
when Christian Bale's character, he's kind of, he's everybody's telling him that he's delusional. Basically, they're like, "Are you effing crazy? Like, yeah, how much money are we gonna lose per year?" He's like 190 million in blah blah blah. And so he's not panicking, but he's like he's convinced that he's right, and he's playing the drums out of frustration. And
Yeah.
it just reminds me so much of, like, you see a lot of posts like that on crypto. I
Well,
just saw
this is
one.
the thing. Okay, so let's bring that back to making the bed.
Okay.
So the first time you make the bed, you may not notice any change. The second day that you make the bed, you're not noticing any change.
Right.
This is the time that it takes, and we call that kind of, I like the manifesting crowd calls that a bridge of incidents that's unfolding, right? So, but at a certain time, you pick up momentum, and then the impact is going to be amazing
Right.
because it's
It
compounding.
it does
Yeah.
slow down your thinking. I mean, I noticed
All
it for
right. So
myself. Like,
here's the
it's my
thing.
thinking slows down a little
Right.
bit because I have to all of a sudden focus on the moment and what I'm doing, and so all the other noise and stuff is all canceled out for a second because it's like, okay, I have
Yeah.
this task that I need
All
to
right. So,
complete.
yeah, yeah. So here's what happens always before we succeed.
Hmm.
We are confronted with the biggest disaster in that area. We're going to lose all hope and faith. I've been doing this for
Right.
days on end.
That's what
The
happens in The
freaking
Big
wave scale
Short.
hasn't
Yeah.
moved. That I've been, the needle hasn't, the
Yeah.
chart hasn't moved. I've been hollering this shit for a year.
Mm.
What's going on? But everything has its own time, see?
Yeah.
Everything has its appointed hour for things to happen. All you need to do is relax
For a
and
guy,
persist.
it's benching
But
2 plates,
yeah,
or at least
well,
for
you know
me,
what?
gets me into
Yes.
the 2 plate
It's
to
going to be
bench.
the darkest. We know
Yeah.
this. We have a saying. It's always the darkest before the dawn. And it's there where we have successful people and failing people
Yeah.
because they fail to persist.
I
And
think.
sometimes
Yeah.
you need to be a little bit delusional because what you see hasn't happened yet. The outcome isn't here yet. Yet you believed it, right? And you made a plan. And so now you need to do is just persist. If you're on a diet and you are just, seeing no weight loss anymore at some point, you're going to question your diet. Should I be tinkering with it? Most people fuck up their
Oh
diet this way.
man.
We're going to
Yeah, it's
tinker with
scary to
it,
think about.
right? No, all you need to do is wait till it drops again. It will. It can take a couple of weeks, but it will, right? And so you just need to huddle harder, right? Cope harder. But you got to persist. You got to keep the actions that you did in place. But a lot of people are abandoning right there.
Yeah, yeah,
And
don't sell
we
your
know this in
bag.
crypto.
Dude,
That's
that's
what we know in crypto. Yeah.
crazy. I
Yeah.
just, yeah, it's like you step on the scale and you're like, "Oh, I'm still 220 pounds." And so then you sell your bag and you go eat, some Krispy Kreme
Yeah.
donuts
And
because you're
yeah,
like, "Why
but
am I even
what?
trying? Why
No,
am
no,
I
you're
even?"
not only going to eat the one cheat meal, you're going to have
Uh-huh.
a whole cheat day
Yeah, yeah, a whole
because
cheat
now you
month.
gave up
Yeah.
and you're rolling straight back into the old you, right? Your old beliefs and who didn't give a damn about any of this. And so instead of a cheat meal, it's going to be a
Mm.
cheat day. And then you're going to think, the old you is going to put this in your way. As if you give it a chance, it's going to come up with this in your head. Well, I deserve a weekend where I can eat a little bit more. The fuck you do? You don't,
Mm.
right? But you're gonna make up in your mind, yeah, you know what? This weekend I'm gonna be, and then it's gonna turn into a week, months, and you're back to your old you before you know it.
Oh yeah.
3 months later, you're just sitting on the couch again, like, how did this happen?
Yeah, no, it was
Right?
like I remember like having like a six pack and being like, "Oh, I can drink a milkshake," like blah blah blah. And that
Yeah,
turned into a lot of freaking milkshakes. That six pack is
yeah,
like
yeah,
long gone now.
yeah.
But it's
But
like,
this is you pushed out.
I mean, I've
There's
stopped.
nothing
I believe
here.
me, I've
It's not
reeled it in. I'm not drinking milkshakes anymore.
nobody.
Still, I
Nobody.
had to realize that I'm like, okay, this is
Nobody
not good.
took you by the head and be like, shove your head into a
Well, no,
cake,
I was
right?
with my buddy. No, I was with my gym bro though, and he ordered a strawberry shake, and I'm like, yeah, dude, we just got done working out. But then I have a problem with ice cream. It's like once the floodgate opens, like I just want it
Yeah.
every day. I don't know what it is, but like I have a really bad sweet tooth. But I
So
mean, I'm
either
able
you
to reel it in
incorporate
though.
it,
Don't get me wrong.
in a way, because we all have our triggers, right,
Hmm.
with things. Either you incorporate it in a way that is beneficial for the new you.
Yeah,
So that's why I make
like
my own
protein
protein
ice
ice
cream,
cream
right?
because
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
in my freezer
right,
right now, I have a
and I
pint
make
of
it work.
Nix. I have Nix protein ice cream. I think it's 14
Yeah,
grams per pint, and it's like
yeah,
416 calories for the entire pint. So it's like
yeah.
relatively, it's not the healthiest
Yes,
thing in the
okay.
world, but it's a
But you
good
can make
trade
your
off.
own, and it's gonna be better.
Way
It's gonna
better than
have even
that.
less.
That's
So
true.
mine is like I do like a big bowl, and I'm talking. a full container of ice cream for only 250 calories.
Jeez.
Most of it coming from protein,
Wow.
because it has 40 grams of protein in there. I do
Wow.
not kid you, and it's delicious.
Yeah, and
Anyway,
it's probably a lot lower in fat too. The
as
fat
oh yeah,
content
no fat. There's no fat because I
because you
use
yeah.
well a little some almond milk, right? But that's like what 3 grams of fat, and there's nothing.
Right.
30 calories in fat.
And they're also high density
No sugars.
lipids, high
Yeah.
density HDLs in
Yeah, you can
almonds.
use some coconut milk also. But look, this is, and we know this, we're not talking about the coconut milk. We're not talking about the ice cream. These are all just metaphors for the issue that you have. It means it's your trigger, so you
Yeah.
need to do something with it. All right, so we have some other people on stage. Let's talk to them. I see Aaron, you have your hand up. Aaron, good to see you again. How you doing?
Hey Miss Wild, how you doing? I always enjoy your Saturday spaces. I think it's maybe the third one I've caught. They're always lit as usual, and I tell everybody to listen. You're the top space host.
Thank you very much.
I have a question. It's kind of
Yeah.
embarrassing, but
No,
I'm just
nothing
gonna
is
put it out
embarrassing.
there. Normally, I just eat like one frozen dinner a day,
Yeah.
like some like a biscuits and gravy or some BS. Like, how bad
Mhm.
is that for me? But I lost 30 pounds in springtime somehow, exercising a little bit.
Yeah. So look, as long as you get, so here's the science on this.
It's intermittent fasting basically.
No, yeah, no, we call it OMAD, 1 meal a day,
Hmm.
right? But that meal needs to have all of your protein. It
Macros.
basically needs to have all of your macros in there, right? And so your macros are then set to a little bit of a deficit here, right? Because you're in a weight loss phase. So for bulking, this would not be helpful because it's very hard to get 3 or 4 thousand of the right calories in your body of the right micros once a
I'm not
day,
a
right?
gym bro.
No.
Wow.
So you're
I
not a
just
gym
was
bro?
just in general
All
for
right.
the normal
So,
like
okay.
sedentary
Yeah,
person.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so ask AI what your macros should be and then have that one meal a day be more aligned with that so your body gets what it needs. So here's the thing with weight loss when we are in weight loss phase, we kind of want to keep muscles and we kind of want to lose fat. So that's why I always call it fat loss and not weight loss, because here's what your body does. Your muscles are so expensive for your body. So when you go into a calorie deficit, which means that we're going catabolic, so we're going into a breakdown, your body will eat muscles any day over fat. So it will first give up muscle mass before it gives up fat. Why? Because evolutionary wise, that fat is not bad for us. That's survival, right? It's a buffer against, it can keep us from dying, for fuck's sake. Muscles, not so much. We can always build muscles again when life is good again and harvest was great. But we want to keep the fat for when it really gets tough in life, right? For in the winter times when we cannot get a hold of shit. That's basically how it was over. Uh, right now is the only time in history we have it this good, right? Our ancestors, even our grandparents, were having times of lack. They were not eating cake every day. We could eat cake every day and cookies and get away with it too, right? Because we go to the store and it's $1. You can grab a pack of cookies, right? Yeah, 100 years ago, you need to make your own cookies, or right, you need to pay for it, and we didn't have so much money, so you were still making your own cookies, but then only on when it was a party, right? Yeah, Aaron.
I got two things. After listening to what you just said, I came across this amazing dude in the space who just kind of joined one of the groups I was in, like a space
Mm-hmm.
that I go to a lot. And he was talking about how he makes his own mayonnaise and
Yeah,
bread and like
yeah,
every single thing from
yeah.
scratch. And it's like I struggle just, with hygiene and cleaning the house. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, look,
but
look, look. You're
and I
not.
wanted to say, man, my
Mhm.
EBT card got cut off. I'll be all right, but the
Yeah.
kids, they're
So,
kind of
so
chubby.
yeah. So look at that. That's why I kind of mentioned it early in the space already. Do not look at other people. You need to optimize you, and that can only be catered and customized towards you because we are not the same. We don't have the same jobs. We don't have the same genetics. We didn't grow up the same. So there's nothing here that's cookie cutter. Well, you got to learn about yourself here, right? And so you need to look for the biggest bangers for your buck and to eat healthy People ask me all the time because I'm a nutritionist as well, you guys, believe it or not. So 80% of what you should eat should come as close to the source as you could possibly get it. Now, and this would be different from everybody, right? Look, if I'm living in farmland, that's going to be a little bit easier to get my vegetables straight from a farm. Maybe I can even get my eggs straight from a farm, right? But Wild here lives in Amsterdam. No such thing. I don't have any farm near me, right? So I need to think. I need to maybe go to a farmer's market. Where's the markets where they sell that stuff then, right? That's in my area. Maybe I should look online to get some of that stuff. How much does it cost? Can I incorporate that into my economics here, my budget, right? Because that's another thing as well. And after doing that for a while, you notice you start to buy in the supermarket less and less. The first thing you need to do is get your meat from somewhere else in the supermarket because that ain't healthy. They are not, they don't know nothing about meat. It coming, it goes, the cows go to China to get cut up and then it comes back frozen again and glued together. It's like, really? Well, I started to buy from, I eat less meat because of it, and I'll just do with a scoop of protein powder a day then, right? Just to come up with the economics with the budget for it. And I just go ahead and pork, beef, I get that from a farm and they send it to me frozen. So that's the solution for me. But for you, might be an easier solution because you're freaking living next door, freaking cow shits, right? Or chickens, whatever, right? Or maybe you also live in the city. You're like, oh yeah, let me look online. It's actually right. So to get all your nutrients in as close to the source as possible is always your best bet. Now, for you, you might be winning going to a farmer's market. For other people, it might be winning because it's next door. It's going to look different for everybody here. Also, we do things differently and we have different goals. So if I just want to lose fat, I just have to adjust. You can use the chat GPI for this, you guys. You don't need to hire a trainer. You can ask, hey, you can even ask, give it your preference. Because I know I had a gym and my gym app was set this way using AI. Yeah. People would actually punch in what they had in their cabinets, in their pantry, and the stuff that they like to eat the most regularly because they enjoyed it. And then from there on, ask ChatGPT, all right, so I want to lose some fat. Give me my macros. This is what I do in a day. This is what I have in my pantry. What should I eat and how much of it? And then we'll tell you. Easy, right? And it's catered to you. So when people say, well, it's better to eat turkey because it has less fat than chicken, it's like, yeah, by what? This is optimization, and they get you thinking that you need this, or that you need peptides, right? Extra peptide, or that you need supplements. Well, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but it's not going to be when somebody says like you need to have this because he's taking it and it's working for him.
Yeah,
Might not be for you.
that's the alpha right there, dude.
Yeah.
Jeez, because we don't all react to compounds the same.
No, no.
Yeah.
And sometimes you stare yourself blind, and this is again the old you coming out. You're gonna make it too difficult for yourself because the calories ins and out is pretty easy, the law of physics there comes into play. We know it. Energy in, energy out, right? Less energy in, more energy out puts us in a negative for losing weight. Now, okay, now I want this weight to be fat and not muscle. So we need to do slight adjustments in our macro thing. And we're going to up the protein for that, right? Because protein is going to be a buffer for muscle loss.
And
Protein
carbs.
also, well, it also has the highest thermic effect. So it actually takes 30% of the calories. So let's say I have 100 calories worth of protein. It takes 30 calories of these 100 calories to actually make sure the protein is digested.
Mm,
And so set this off to carbs, 7%, and to fat is nearly a one on one,
mm,
3%. So every time I eat fat, and my body's like, oh, this looks like fat, so we're just gonna stuff it, we're gonna use it,
yeah.
or we're gonna stuff it into reserves, right? And you do that throughout the day. There's not one moment in a day that you're doing it. So your fat cells empty and regain all the time throughout the day, depending on insulin. If you're high insulin in your blood, so if you ate a lot of carbs, it locks the fat cells and it takes the energy from the glucose, right? It shifts there. And then the insulin will come down and then the fat thing starts again. So carbs, yeah, we need to do something with carbs. We need to put those into what? We need to make glucose out of them. And then we're going to check if the liver is full, right? If the liver is full and we're not expending energy at the moment, then it will start that process of turning that into fat as well. But it's kind of doesn't kind of want to do that initially. Kind of want to look if your liver is full, or else we stuff it in there. We got to look if your muscles are full, or else we stuff it in there. Because so that the more muscle you have, the more glucose you will burn as well, right? That's why people with a lot of muscle can eat tons of food without gaining fat. So if you're not having any muscles, right, there's no metabolic favoritism there. It will just turn into lipids. Yeah. But protein is a building block. We don't store any of this. There's no protein in our body that's being stored. So it takes a lot to go to the protein, and then we're going to go because everything is protein in your body. Every cell is made of protein. Actually, the mechanisms that tell every cell what to do is also a protein sequence. So we need a lot of protein every day, right? And so, and when you do sports more with resistance training, the demand there is going up a little bit. So, because you're making what? More muscle cells, right? So you need more of these uh, building blocks. But everybody ignores protein. But protein, because of that thermic effect, you can use that thermic effect as some leverage. So the only thing, denominator, that tells you if you're losing weight, the one that gives you the biggest bang for the buck should be protein because it's protein focused and it gives you the highest thermic effect. And we also do not store it, we just pee it out.
Oh yeah.
So it doesn't turn into energy. Well, it can. I also have to give this as a disclaimer. It's called gluconesis. I don't know how to say this in English. Gluconesis, something like that.
Mm.
Where it actually turns protein into glucose, but it does that only in survival mode, by the way. We do that when we're fasting and shit, and when we eat some protein and non-fat or non-carbs, it's going to turn into glycogen. Why? Because our brain works best on glycogen, right? So that's why we feel like weird when we don't have any carbs. And then people say, yeah, well, I'm on keto, and then I have this or fasting, and then I get this mental clarity. Yeah, you know what starving people get right before they die?
What?
That mental clarity, because that's your last ditch effort to fucking think about how to get some food. That's why you get
Wow.
mentally clear. Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah. They get this happy, euphoric feeling that sets them off. Yeah, that's actually a starvation mechanism. Yeah, that's your body is going like, we're in starvation mode. You better come up with some good ideas. Here's some mental clarity. Here's some extra gamma. Send it to your brain, so you can have like clarity of mind, right? And go get us some food, right? Yeah. So that's basically the thing there. But protein, eating with a protein focus sometimes already puts people in a weight loss situation. Yeah, just thinking about, all right, which part of the food here is protein? I'm going to start with that first. And it's also very satiating. Protein is a high satiating food. It also triggers leptin, a leptin response. And leptin is one of the two hunger hormones, we call them. Ghrelin is the other. And leptin is actually giving the signal to your fat cells. No, we don't need anything, right? Your well, it's the other way around. Your fat cells signal leptin, and so, which is like we're full. Yeah, we're full. So we don't have to eat anymore. Very fulfilling. I'm full. We can stop eating. Now, ghrelin happens when the fat cells are emptied out a little. They're going to signal ghrelin. And ghrelin is something you do not, I experienced this. You don't want to experience any of this. That's hunger, because I was at such a low fat percentage at one point in training. That is hunger you cannot run from. And you can eat a plate and then eat another plate and then eat another plate and you will never get full. That's ghrelin. When you have a lot of ghrelin in your system, you can that binge eating is that coming smack into your face, right?
Wow.
When you're dieting too hard, you're producing a lot of ghrelin, and you cannot win from ghrelin because it's hormone, such a primal hormone, right?
Wow.
Because your body is like, your fat cells are like, nah, we're 50% down here. This is going way too fast. We're dying.
Yeah.
And so here's some ghrelin for you. Yeah, and you're going to eat everything in your fridge. Even if you haven't liked it before, you're going to be like, oh, maybe it's just delicious.
Yeah.
I put a little
Nah.
ketchup on,
I've
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I've definitely been through that. I can identify with that. Not recently
Yes.
necessarily,
Well,
but yeah.
some things that trigger that a little bit are cannabis that can trigger some of that ghrelin response as well. We all
Mm.
know that.
Mm-hmm.
And some medication does as well. But the
Mm.
alpha is to lose weight is to actually go to a high protein diet. For bulking, we're gonna up the carbs and lower the protein. We're gonna set the protein back to 1 to 1 per
Right.
pound of body weight. And
Right.
when we go into uh, fat loss
Uh huh.
stages, we're gonna up it
Up the
all the way to
protein and lower the
2.2
carbs.
gram, 2.2 grams of protein per what was it, per kilo or per pound? I don't know anymore.
It's 2 grams per kilo. I think it is
Yeah,
because
2.2 per
it's
kilo.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because for me,
and it's
it's about.
yeah,
I
it's
think I need 200 grams. I think
yeah,
something like that.
yeah, makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's in the good ballpark. Yeah, so it's per kilo because you guys are over there in pounds.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then when you're in a bulk, 1.1, and then the the bulk should be around upping the carbs and double your fat and upping the carbs. Right, double the fat
Yeah.
from a
So that you
deficit
have
stage, and then
energy. Yeah. Yeah.
yes,
Because
you
without
need
fat,
energy.
and also your joints ache if you're like if you
No
cut back
hormones. Yeah,
on your
yeah.
what's it called, your fat too much, it's like you
Oh
feel
yeah,
brittle under
yeah.
high weight doing like
Oh
heavy
yeah,
deadlifts or heavy
yeah.
bench press or
You need some
squats, like you
oiling.
feel, yeah, you have no
Yeah,
oil
yeah. Dry
in your
skin.
yeah.
Yeah,
If you, without that
hormones.
fat, like you really feel it
Yeah.
when you're lifting heavy. Yeah.
Also, sex drive hormones are down, so no libido for you,
Oh
right? You
wow.
don't feel like it. Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's from
yeah.
fat?
Down. Yeah, yeah.
Oh wow. Huh.
When
Interesting.
women do this all the time, they go
Mm.
like almost fatless. Like so, for the women, I would say anything between 50 and 60 grams a day is necessary to even just maintain normal hormone levels. If you go below that for longer periods of time, and you're not already in a good in you're not obese, right? You're regular. Let's say you have a regular body shape. Let's say you're on 26 to 30% for a woman would be a fat percentage that is pretty regular and normal. And so just to maintain this, yeah, if you go below that for a longer period of time, what happens to women? Well, no, they get a headache, right? They
Mm.
get the quote unquote headache. Yeah, you don't want to
Yeah.
do it anymore. But the same goes for men. When men do bodybuilding competition and they go too low and extreme,
Yeah.
same thing. You can't even get it up anymore. There's not
Right.
enough of that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's for your body. It's not a priority to procreate here. It's a priority to fucking live.
To survive.
And everything
Wow.
about less.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never thought about that. That's pretty profound.
The
Yeah.
nookie comes later when we
Yeah.
start feel good again.
Huh.
We
That's it. Yeah,
celebrate.
cuz yeah,
Yeah.
okay, cool. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
keep your priorities right and
Yeah.
keep that in mind as you're dieting. How is this going to affect me later?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's
But
the alpha on that, you guys.
but
But let's say
mhm.
hello to Stu before we
Okay, yeah.
Stu.
Hey, what's up?
Hey,
What's up, Wow? How you
what's
doing, Tick?
up?
I'm just here
Yo,
vibing. I'm
GM.
working in the back, and I'm listening everything you're talking about. I'm enjoying myself, enjoying the conversation. Thanks
Good
for so
stuff.
much sharing that. I've been thinking about that myself. Like I'm cutting about the weight, and you know what? The funniest thing is talking about the making your bed. I tell my son every single day. It all starts off with that bed. You know
Yeah.
what it is like when you start that day fresh. Your bed is fresh. It starts, and another thing too is with your workspace that you work at, how
Yes.
organized you
Mm.
are. The
Yes.
more organized you are, the more clean headed you are,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and the better you work. So everything has to, organization is a key to basically being a more efficient in life. To like everything you're saying, like I tell my kid every day, make your bed, make your bed, make your
Start
bed.
with that. Yeah, that's the first thing that you should be doing. And if you the problem is if you're not making your bed, you're going to be behind on the day. So you will not feel inclined to clean up the kitchen. You will not feel inclined to get that workspace organized a little bit more, right? Just and that's all because you neglected to do the one thing that could set you up to do all the other stuff.
It's just in life itself. If you keep
It is.
if you build the habit of keeping everything organized,
Yeah,
you just work more efficient that way. And like
absolutely.
I just tell everybody, man, you gotta make things more efficient for yourself.
Yes.
Have everything in the
So
right place for you.
here's another,
Location
right?
is key.
Here's
Yeah.
another thing that people, so we know about our desk and we know about our bed. And we know maybe the kitchen sink is part of this too. And maybe stop buying plastic little shit and buy more Bitcoin. So stop going to that dollar store and get like, feed your inner rack with plastic stuffies from shit that you don't need, right? Buy more Bitcoin for that. But
Yeah,
also
I
something that is,
agree.
what is the other thing that's very distracting, but people never mention? Can you tell me that one? Very
Never meant it.
distracting. The number two most distracting in our day that we fail to see.
Not sure. Not your phone,
Noti-
right?
Notifications. Notifications. Never have these on. Notifications are direct distraction.
Yeah.
It's so hard, man, when you like work
There we
off
go.
your phone and you're not notified with these notifications and you're behind on messaging. So sometimes it's a little
Yeah.
tough. But you know what? The one thing you got to learn how to do, you got to learn how to tune out and really put down the phone. And we get caught doom scrolling. Everybody does it. We're bored. Sometimes we have a little free time. We're making dinner, waiting for things to cook. So you got like 15, 20 minutes. You want to. So it's different. But I feel like in a way, if you're gonna doom scroll, like you
Yes.
gotta, but you could
So
you could
so
you
here's
could do
here's
both.
the part of your brain that manages attention, amongst other things I'm not getting into right now because they're all kind of related. But that one is managing attention. Is It's your reticular activating system, the RAS that I sometimes talk about. So look that up and look at things that mess with that attention. And then it will, well, look it up. I mean, freaking, we can go ask AI right now. Like, hey, what can I do, right, to increase my attention span? And it will give you a few things that you just need not to do, and some things that you can do because it's your brain is nothing but a muscle. See, I want everybody to realize, if you're listening to this right now, it's nothing but a muscle. You can train it. Yeah, you have
Yeah, so
neuroplasticity. Yeah, yeah. Go
we're
ahead.
actually it's so we you could actually see the algorithm like the X algorithm is almost like a collective RAS, right? Could you that's
Absolutely. All
yeah,
social
it's
media
that's
is. Yes.
yeah, yeah. So because we're actually it's interesting the direction of information and attention because I notice it because I've been so dialed in only since June, right? Since June, I made a commitment to CT and spending time here. And you notice the way that like people miss things. People just miss things because of it's like this collective RAS that isn't, yeah. So people just miss the things that they're not dialed into, right? Or they're not like it's that it's felt that the algorithm filters out on your behalf and you
Ye-
train. I mean, you know all about this, Wilder,
Yes, because what
obviously.
I always
But
say is you can program your RAS. Yeah, so this is coding. Again, we're coming back to where we started here, Adam. We're going full
yeah,
to the
it's
circle
good
here.
though. Yeah,
It's
it's good though.
coding.
I
It's
just needed
just
to
like,
space out for like a
yeah.
good 30 or so minutes or
Yeah,
whatever it
yeah, to let
was
it sink in
just
and
then.
marinate. Yeah, sometimes you
Yeah.
let things marinate. But what am I saying all the time? You program the algorithm. And here's how people make here's how to be a boss. Because if as soon as you know what the hook is for the group RAS, then you can hack the group RAS and tell it what to do. But if you don't know that that
Yeah.
mechanism is playing out, then you're becoming one of them.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
That's
See?
deep.
that's actually it's a
No, it's not deep.
tension.
It's
It's a
not deep.
tension
It's
fight. That's
What does RES stand for?
RAS. It's a
It's
retention,
no
a reticular
reticular
activating
reticular
system.
activating system.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
was just
yeah,
reticular
reading about it.
activating
Yeah.
system.
yeah,
It's in our upper brain stem, so it's basically part of our primal brain, right? And this is the one that we use to. All right, so here's how it works. So I know we're going overtime, Tick. I know that you need to
Yeah,
do other
no,
things, but
very
I,
well.
I really want to explain this because it's too easy. It's just like programming your algorithm on X and what you want to see on timeline. So your timeline is reality, and what you reply to other people with, the words that you're using and the posts that you are responding to, you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna see more of that in your timeline. And this is how reality creation works as well. It's very easy how it works. So you have a concept of you, yeah, and you feel things. So the feeling gives the basically the importance, the level of importance of what we are thinking on the inside. Our imagination is an expression of our subconscious mind. When we're using conversational hypnosis, you notice at some point I will stop using words that speak to the cognitive mind. I will start using words, linguistics actually, to program you and your subconscious mind. I will actually start to use words like imagination. I start to ask more about what if. Let's imagine this. How about this? Right? These are all things that are working more for your subconscious mind because your cognitive brain does not know what to do with those words. It's like, what do you mean? So I bypass the cognitive brain by using these words. So you know you have your subconscious, right? And so you can have your imagination. Hey, these shoes, I would really love these red shoes. We all know red cars or red shoes or whatever. We all know the experience here. So you're going to feel a certain way about it. And it tells you now, it programs the reticular activating system to look for it in your reality. Yeah. You have an imaginary moment about you driving a red car and how fabulous that would be. Yeah, all of a sudden, if you do this, if you do it more than once, which we do it totally subconscious. Sometimes we can do it like awake and we go under hypnosis. We can trigger it, right? We can program it. Otherwise, it's just an automatic process, just like breathing, just like your heartbeat. It's all part of that automation system in you. That's your subconscious, right? It works on autopilot. And so and now all of a sudden, what do you see? Red cars everywhere. Now, is that because you thought about it somehow magically red cars? No. It's just that you told your that reticular activating system to look for it. And so you're going to notice them more. Yeah. If you're looking for a certain partner characteristic, you're going to be paying more attention to people with these characteristics because you're feeling more towards that. So you're going to see that. And so, okay, so we do that now with these quote unquote little things. You can do this with big things too. So if you want to change your world around, you need to program it, right? Program your own algorithm. That's that RAS. And amongst the other things, it also regulates cortisol. It also has wakefulness, arousal. That's all in that reticular activating system. So Twitter, same thing. If I say good morning a lot to other people, for to do that 3 4 days, and boom, I see only good morning posts because that's the words I'm using, and I'm responding to people's good morning, and I say good morning to them. And so when I make a good morning post, I'm now getting views. I'm getting boosted in the algorithm because it aligns with what I'm preaching, right? With my good mornings. And so I get a lot of traction on my good mornings. It just means I say good morning a lot to other people. That's how you program, right? Yeah. If I only said who's active and I only respond to people who post who's active, and I post a good morning, I'm not getting any traction, am I? Because I'm not aligning here. See? So you program the algorithm on X as well. And we all know if you are not actively having an agenda, so having things to program with mindfulness, so becoming aware, bring awareness into this, guess what? Your agenda is being hijacked by the majority, by the people who do know this. And that's what we were just pointing out at the start of this, when Tick's
Yeah.
mind was blown.
Yeah, no, yeah, we've come like full circle with the whole talking about
Yes,
signal
exactly.
to noise ratio.
Yeah. Yeah.
RAS plays a huge role in that because of yeah, it's programming essentially, and
Yeah.
and and
Yeah.
It all kind of correlates, and there
Yeah.
it all boils down really to hormones. It's all kind of controlled by hormones when you really boil
Well,
it down, correct?
yes and no, right? So the hormones are there to trigger some reactions in our brain,
Mm-hmm.
but they can't if the pathways are not built.
Mm.
That's why it's so hard when we do things on repeat and when we have thoughts that we have on repeat. We are kind of hard coding ourselves the more you do it. So, and then it gets really hard to change behavior
Mm-hmm.
because behavior is just the outcome. That's the timeline. You need to understand. And I've been trying to tell people all the time I have this on my wall. It's in Dutch, but the translation is everything is a concept or an idea that I need to define in my reality because I always need to be right. If I was wrong, this is not my reality. I would not exist. So I need to define my existence, which is me and my beliefs on me projected onto the world. And then us collectively in our village or as neighbors, and then collectively in the country, and then collectively as males, collectively as females, or who we believe we're us to be.
And that's very Steve Jobs of you. I was just
So, yes.
he basically I was listening to Kevin Leary talking about how he, you know, working with Steve Jobs, what it was like, and he said he was like a very like unfriendly person,
Yes.
and that basically he said that like what he says goes, and that what people will buy or what people will believe is whatever he
Yes.
tells them that they will
Yes.
believe.
Okay, so
What he
who
says
wins?
is the
Who
ultimate
wins?
truth.
Because
It's
I have had
but
this conversation many times. Let's
uh-huh.
say you and I, we create a very wonderful reality creators. We know how to program the algorithm. Our timeline confirms all of this. So we know what we do is a good thing. So what is then sets this apart? Who wins if we are strong? The one that is convinced the most. That's the one who wins. That's
Mm,
how you dominate other people with what? Confidence.
yeah.
However delusional the story, it's not about the story. It doesn't need to make sense. That's how we get cult leaders. The whole story is fucking nuts.
Or con artist,
Yet,
yeah.
yeah, our con artists, it's
Mm-hmm.
nuts. If we're looking hindsight, there were all these telltale signs which we just ignored because we saw a confident person, and when we get in touch with a person that's more confident than us,
Mm-hmm.
we accept our hierarchy role at that time.
Yeah, Bernie Madoff pulled it off for like
Yes,
35 years. And like
yes,
it was
yeah,
like $500 billion
nuts. I tell
something.
you, that CIA guy that gives a perfect example of this. So that CIA guy, right? Who knew this?
Snowden?
But
The,
no, he's not. No, he's actually from
I know
an
that Snowden was
CIA agent.
NSA, but
But his name is not important. He
uh
did an experiment. He
oh,
got
I uh-huh.
the bottle of liquor, right? He got the bottle of liquor. He called his friend because he was going to put this to the test. He called his friend, come have a drink with me. So he took that bottle of liquor to a coffee shop where they just served coffee. He didn't order coffee. He took 2 cups of the bar, went and sit down, and was now getting the bottle to pour a drink. And the friend says, hey, we cannot do this because the rules here is that we need to buy a coffee and we cannot drink liquor in here. And he's like, no, no problem. I got this. So he just poured 2 drinks and then boom, a waiter came. Sir, you cannot drink alcohol here. Also, you need to order something off our menu. And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. I got this as a gift.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And the waiter
just
just walked away because he didn't know what to say back. So in that moment, hierarchy is established. People do not know how to respond to confidence. They don't. They are just numb. And so you get away with shit. Who gets away with shit in life? The people who are most confident. Even their whole story can be total bullshit. And they can still get people to drink Kool-Aid and kill themselves.
mm,
It doesn't need to. And this is how they know these people are very powerful, but somehow they know, maybe not on a conscious level, but they know how the subconscious work. Subconscious mind of us, people, and every living being. Yeah. This is a blind fool. You can tell it anything and it will believe it. And this is that truth being pushed out into people. Total bullshit. But if the confidence, you can have people cursing on stage, and people who will not curse themselves or think it's impolite will tolerate it. For some people, even calling it an attribute, they will somehow say, "Oh, that's just a part of his personality." They will make an excuse for something that they detest in other people. But the confident, most confident person that does it, they're gonna say like, "Oh no, that's just him. That's actually wonderful of him, right?"
Hmm.
How bullshit is this? No, you had a rule, right? You don't find this attractive in other people.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a whole big discussion about people who can curse and still be very successful in life and millionaires even. Do great in business while cursing. And there are people like, no, you can't. And I was like, yes, you can. The most confident ones can. Yeah. And then the other was like, no, hell no. And I was like, you must be coming from America because here we have people that see how narrow this is from
Mm.
some people. Yeah, yeah. So they don't even think in the whole world. So, yeah, the RAS, look that up, how to program your brain for
Yeah,
things.
I'm gonna for
And
sure do
yeah,
some deep diving into
if you
RAS
do,
programming.
actually,
I could
I
use
did
it.
an experiment, and the numbers still need to come in, but I did a little experiment on my own because I know in on X to change your algorithm, it takes anywhere between 3 and 7 days. So that's the appointed hour there, 3 to 7 days. And you know I did tick because I said I was going to make a viral post. And
Yeah,
it took me to program the algorithm to go viral. And I had my goal was one post above 5 million.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it happened.
That's
Yeah,
yeah, that's
on the
legit.
fourth on the fourth day, I got a bump to 100K with a post.
Wow.
On the fifth day, I was on the first one over 1 million. And on the fifth day, I had 9 million views.
Jeez. Yeah,
That's how
anything
I broke. Yeah,
3 million is considered viral, so that's like
yeah,
far you 3x virality.
yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah. So
that's
so
sick.
anything, yeah, but here's the kicker. So if you program your mind, you start to see results within 3 to 7 days. Now, there might not be a complete change because some things have their appointed hour. Like, hey, if you need to lose seven or need to lose 20 pounds, it's not going to happen in 3 days. We kind of know this, right?
Right.
Maybe
Yeah.
if you lose freaking your freaking both of your legs, right? But we're well, for the universe that'd be weight loss, so it's goal reached, right?
Oh
That's how
god.
literal, it is.
Yeah,
But
yeah, it's like careful
let's
what
see,
you
yeah.
wish for. That's like
Yeah,
the
be careful what you
genie.
wish for.
You like
Yeah,
you have a genie. It's like, oh, I want to lose 30 pounds. The genie's like,
yeah,
wish
yeah,
granted, legs
yeah,
gone.
here you
And it's like,
go,
oh
right? Legs
no,
are off.
oh no, I wanted to
Yeah,
keep my legs though. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But people are not even seeing it then when it happens, that actually it was the wish fulfilled. When you look back, it's your freaking wish fulfilled. We all have these things. If we critically look back, we can point those out,
Mm.
right? The best one is the story of my friend when we talked about manifesting, quote unquote manifesting,
Uh huh.
and I was like, how to program your brain. And she was in the conversation, she was mentioning, oh man, I really would like to have my tooth fixed. I'm going to program my brain to have that crooked tooth that was growing over the other corner tooth. And it'd been bugging her for all of her life. And she didn't want to smile in pictures. She said, I'm done with it. I need to fix this. And I was like, yeah, program your brain and you will get it somehow, some way. Leave that. Don't think about the way. That will come. The inspiration will come because that RAS will cook it for you. See, so you just need to let it go because that tool that you were born with is gonna cook for you. It's gonna spot the opportunity that you need to get there. Right, the things that you need to get there, or the people will pick up on that. So don't even try and figure that one out, right? But she also in the conversation she also mentioned how she was afraid to cycle through Amsterdam because that's where we live. She was afraid of the traffic. Some people have that, I can imagine, because it's really busy, right? And so weeks later I called her because I haven't heard from her in a bit. I was like, hey, how are you? She said, I never want to talk to you again. And I was like, what happened? Why? Right? She said, no, I'm serious. It's freaking creepy and scary. What happened? I was like, what happened? She said, well, I wanted to overcome my fear. So I took my bicycle into Amsterdam traffic. I got hit by a car that didn't see me.
Oh no.
I broke my corner tooth. Broke my corner tooth. The guy was in the wrong here, And so the insurance paid for her dental repair, which they made it into a straight tooth.
God.
But she's like, so I'm happy that happened, that I have a straight tooth, but the road to get there was so scary. And I was like, yeah, be careful what you wish for,
Yeah.
because you don't know how it's going to show up. But all of a sudden, these crazy things can happen. And we call them miracles and outside of the ordinary. But this is not true. Because, like I said, everything is coded. So were you. You are the product of two people meeting at a time in space. If they would have missed each other by 1 minute, you would not exist. Yeah, and that multiply that because their parents, yeah, both of these, all your grandparents needed to meet at the right time, the right place for your parents to happen. And so, if they didn't, if any of these didn't, then again, you were not here. So you're coming from a long line of quote unquote happenstance. I love the word happenstance. Well, it just happens. Is it now or is it programmed, right? Okay, so let's leave with this. Let's turn some music on because I kind of right? Or are we having any questions? There's a space tomorrow. I'll touch more on this, you guys. If you want to hear more, just turn notice on because I never give a link out for my Sunday space. I'm also giving tons of alpha there that otherwise is monetized. So I'm not recording the space. I'll give you the alpha, but you got to show up in the space. I will not record it, right? I'll give it for free, but you got to show up. All right. Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm getting ready with a little bit of song. Here we go.
Thank you again, you guys, for joining us.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
we will see you Monday, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah. What's the Ticker is back on Monday. I'm here then tomorrow, a little earlier than What's the Ticker. But yeah, let's go play a song here.
Let's go.
Well, I hope you guys
Se
enjoy.
você bota
Saturday.
gaia,
Let's
você
go.
leva também. É o destino da vida. O DJ louco é bolado, tá ligado? Felipe original, e eu nem tô cansado. Esse é o novo aquecimento, as novinhas vai no chão. Todo mundo viciado no ritmo do paredão. Então rebola, mulher, desce até o chão. Faz o M, que é amigo, e faz o sinalzinho com a mão. Eu tô fazendo uma mágica que as novinhas gostam. Fazendo uma mágica que as novinhas gostam. Vou tirando devagar o coelho da cartola. Tirando devagar o coelho da cartola. Tô mandando desse jeito, se liga, pega a visão. Quando essa aqui tocar, vai explodir no paredão. Tô mandando desse jeito, se liga, pega a visão. Quando essa aqui tocar, vai explodir no paredão. Olha que menina louca, olha que mulher agressiva. Olha que menina louca, olha que mulher agressiva. Vai novinha, senta, 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 senta. Vai novinha, quica, 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 quica e arrebenta. Olha que menina louca, olha que mulher agressiva. Olha que menina louca, olha que mulher agressiva. Vai novinha, senta, 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 senta. Vai novinha, quica, 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 quica e arrebenta. Vou tirando devagar o